Hello, Raquel. Raquel still is already in here. I think they're already in here. They came in here and spoke. I'm running a little bit behind. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm sorry I'm late. Sorry I'm late, you guys. Hey, Raquel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I saw your message in there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got a lot to talk about. Of course, you guys have covered some stuff over there. We talked about saints. You should be looking at that right now. And I think you guys will get Saboteur too. Okay. Hey, time stamping army. Hello, welcome, 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 YouTube family. Welcome. We got a lot to talk about today. Um, we're gonna be covering Hoodoo Saints. That's what we have covered over there. You guys should be covering Saboteurs soon. So I'll be coming back probably tomorrow and talking about Saboteurs. But tonight we're going to be talking about welcome, 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 TikTok family, aircraft, and I got my TikTok family here too. The ones that want to sit in on this discussion. And it'll give you, too, Miss Penny, what is the weather like there? Hot. It's always warm. It's always warm here in Thailand. Hi, Miss Penny. Peace to everyone. The chat. Before I get started, though, I want to talk about these astrologer readings because I'm getting people, they get a chart and then they explain what's going on uh, with them after I give them a reading. And so, what I want to say about this, if you know that you have personal stuff going on, you probably need to get a tarot reading. An astrological reading is this. It's going to help you get in alignment with the healing and things, and provide you recommendations for healing and rituals and things like that based on your astrological chart with gifts and things that you have, what you may be dealing with right now. However, if you know that you're stuck somewhere and you're not able to get in alignment with that, you probably need to get a tarot reading. And usually, if you're not in alignment with your chart, that means, because again, this is about your psychological, which is your mind, your spirit, okay, your soul. If you're not in alignment with it, that means that needs to be some shifts going on. And that chart is only telling you these are the shifts that you need to make to be in alignment with it. And I can tell when you're not in alignment with it, because when I tell you this, usually I start hearing, I'm not hearing shift in your voice. I'm not hearing shift in your voice. I'm hearing, I'm stuck and this is where I'm at right now. So I guess I'm going to be here a while. That's what I'm hearing. And it may not sound like that to you. And it won't sound like that to you. Okay? Because we're trying to heal. So we don't even know we're sick and that we're stuck at this frequency. So when I'm telling you this, it seems far fetched to you because of that shift that needs to happen. There's blocks going on there. I hope this made sense to you. And no one can do this but you. You have to be willing to make the shift. Not a reading or anything can do the work for you. You're going to have to do the work. A reading doesn't change the fact that we don't have to do soul work. It's not a shortcut to get away from doing the work, because the work, it still has to be done. That's how you're going to get on the other side. So spirit can't get in if you're not really, if you're not willing to shift. Does that make sense to you guys? Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? That's what we're trying to do. Get in alignment with our chart, tap into our gifts, our purposes, and all that. And if you get a read with me, because I have some people that they get an astrological reading that they go ahead and book a tarot reading. I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna tell you that. Stay in alignment with your chart, no matter what you're doing, whatever. It should be kind of focused towards your purpose, going in that direction. I hope that's making sense to you. Okay. So if you're not in alignment with it, you see it, it's probably gonna be far fetched. You're probably going through depression. You probably, I don't know what you're going through, but it lets you know that, again, I'm not in alignment with that. I have a lot of mental shifting to do. I have a lot of work to do. Okay, I can't do it for you. Not a reader. We all have to do our own work. A reading is not going to fix your always fix your life, but it's going to give you insight and guidance. And if you follow the insight and guidance, you will see shift in your life. If you choose not to do it, again, you're just saying yes to these repeated cycles. That's all you're doing. Okay? Now, if you know you got something personal going on, you feel like you're stuck somewhere, book a tarot reading. Okay? And even then, when I'm giving you your spiritual prescription, it has to do with you doing the work. We don't none of us get out of no work. All of us have to process our own pain. That's what the medicine is. I know it sucks. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that it sucks. Okay, but that's how it works, you guys. So I just wanted to, get that clear because I think some people think an astrology reading gonna tell you it's gonna fix your life, or it's gonna tell you exactly. I don't know what people think. It's gonna fix your life. No, the chart is there to get you in alignment with, tell you what you should be doing. Okay, the work there, nobody get out of it. And I think people think that this is an easy way out. If I get this, I'm gonna get it easy. No, 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 no. This is your life. You making these choices. There's no magic wand like you think. It's gonna take your mind to fix it because the magic is in the mind. And if you can't get your mind shifted, you can't get your mind right. How you gonna tap into magic if you don't even have a mindset to want to try to start doing a shifting and going in that direction? Okay. Yeah, I mean that Trey Brooks said, yeah, you really have to do work. You do. It's no easy way out. You can make excuses for yourself, and really, when you find out you start doing this work, you think everybody else is your problem, but you be your biggest problem. I could have blamed it on my toxic family, not getting better, and all this other stuff. But no, I didn't do that. Okay, I wanted to get better by any means necessary. That means I had to separate from certain people. That I had to go no contact. And you'll see that on your journey as your frequency and your vibration goes higher. You don't want to be around the same people anymore. Matter of fact, your friends, real friends, are going to be very rare because of the high quality of energy that you have. There's not many high quality people out there. I'm gonna say it like that. So you will have very few friends now that you know how to navigate your energy. You know what you're dealing with. Okay, you're not going to have a lot of friends on this journey because most of the people that's friends now, they are in trauma bonds. They in narcissistic and empath relationships. They in a damn lesson. Okay, they looking for a twin flame and getting a soul tie. That's what's going on here. Hey, Gravy Talk, Gravy and Toast. So again, if you're repeating those patterns, look at how you are showing up. The shift needs to happen with you. Is it gonna feel good? Absolutely not. Not all the time. The best medicine for you sometimes don't taste good. You be nasty as hell, but you feel better after after you take it. That's just how it is. Sometimes it's bittersweet. Okay, and I know that's hard to. And for me, that was hard for me because I had to learn to accept that. Acceptance it be the problem. We don't want to accept the way it is now. It hurts so bad to accept what it is right now. And that be most of our problem. And that definitely was my problem because I wanted that fantasy that I had cooked in my head, and no longer could I go back to that. And I didn't like what I was looking at, but I didn't want to accept it. But once I started accepting it, it got better. Okay, I didn't like what I see. So you say you want to get woke. Do you really want to be woke? Because some of the stuff you're gonna have to accept is gonna be hard. You might have to breathe for a while before you accept it. Okay? What is this? We need to learn the difference between associates and friends. Yep. Okay. So, I just want to bring that out there. It's the hardest thing accepting it. Nothing is gonna change. You want to change the outside. Really, it's change comes on the inside. Accepting what's out there and change and shift in you. If you don't change, your outside won't change. Okay. Don't worry about other people, what they got going on, what they're not doing. I know that's hard to do, but we want to change us. We're trying to tap into our magic. We're trying to create our other world. We already know what it is out there. And I think that's the hard thing um, to accept, because reality tells us we're supposed to be close with our family. We're supposed to love our siblings and all that stuff. And some of us don't come from that. And we've always hoped for that. And we just, we get sold these ideas. And those things have to be torn away once you start doing your shadow work. Those are false beliefs. They don't serve us anymore, because we know that's not true. Okay? Right. What's bad to the taste is good for the soul, bittersweet. I'm telling you, that's how it is. And I'm so sorry that it's like that. And yeah, I stayed in my depression for a while because it's hard. You come from this family and, you know, you coming up short is dysfunctional, it's abusive, and now you have to look at where you really come from, because some of us has lived in a fantasy so long, so now we have to look at our dysfunctional family and see how they're draining our energy and really start taking care of ourselves. Some of these friends have been friends of ours for a long time, and now we have to disconnect with them because we found out that they're toxic, and that's where our anxiety, we just find out so many things. So it is a bittersweet thing. Your life changes. Where you wasn't aware at now, you are now. It's lonely doing your work. It is. It is. And this is the part that spirituals don't talk about. They talk about this love and light stuff, but honey, you have to go into the darkness to get your messing about when they talk love and light. No, some days you're gonna feel like crap. Those is days you need to sit there by yourself and be at your altar, be trying to do some shifting and find what's wrong, what's going on with you. If you really doing the work, trying as much as you can. And then sometimes just accepting this is my grief right now. I'm gonna sit at this for a minute. I'm gonna journal what I'm feeling, and then I'm gonna let it pass. It's not gonna always feel like peaches. Forget what these folks talk about, peaches and cream, and you ain't supposed to feel your emotion. You don't get emotional bypass. Being spiritual doesn't mean bypassing your emotions. You're gonna need your emotions um, on this journey. That's why emotional regulation is so important. I talk about nervous system, getting your nervous system together. And a lot of our nervous system is shot to hell. You think I'll just be lying up here talking just to hear myself talk, but I'm serious. But you won't see that until I get you over there and start giving you to slow down. I have members over there now. We just had a healing circle meeting, and they're seeing the difference in their body. It was a trip. I was just, I was just praising the ancestors just so they was able to see. I was like, praise be the ancestors, because now their eyes is opening. They're getting back in their bodies. They're seeing what's going on with them. It's just a beautiful thing. The healing that's happening once they start putting things together. Because I don't teach hoodoo halfway. I'm not gonna teach you no spell. This is more than that. This will heal your damn life if you let it. Okay. So it's a beautiful thing when you see what, and we are talking about feelings. We are talking about those things, and they are seeing shifts in their life. Hello, unshackled emotions. I used to drink wine all the time. My problem one day, ancestor, you're done. And it went away just like that. I'm so grateful. Yes. Okay, so when your mind is ready to do the shift, it will do the shift. Uh, and then you're going to have to sit, you got to be willing to sit in those uncomfortable feelings and journal about them and get the medicine out of it and talk to other people. Talk to whoever, your sponsor, your therapist, but they need to be helping you shift in shadow work. Don't do shadow work alone, because you're going to keep repeating cycles and keep going in the same circle. There's no accountability there. There's no change behavior there. There's no change thinking going on there. We're doing shadow work. We are again upgrading our thoughts, our beliefs, and all that. It's gonna take time for it to shift, and it didn't get like that by itself. So how you think you're gonna fix it by yourself? It's gonna take support system. It's gonna take a therapist to help you start getting your thinking correctly and getting crap up out of there. Because you didn't program your mind like that by yourself. So how you think you're gonna unprogram your mind like that by yourself? Being around a support group, a community, having a therapist, someone walking you through that, holding you accountable in a very loving way, helping you see. Okay, you can't do it by yourself. And I see people try to do, I did shadow work. I'm always doing. Are you integrating? Is it turning into medicine? Is your mind shifting? When I see people say they doing shadow work by themselves, I side eye them all the time. Because no, you don't want to shift. You don't want to change. You want to know you're doing regular stuff. You want to know you're doing regular stuff, but you don't want to change it. What are you doing? Because most of them think the same. They have some of the nothing is no progress is being made there mentally. Okay. Shadow work is when you do your inner child work, look at your childhood traumas, look at your family, where did you come from? Because you are them. Look at their pathology, the way they think. It's racism in your family, it's prejudice in your family, it's alcoholism in your family, it's abuse in your family. Are you willing to look at it? That's shadow work. Was dad an abuser? Was someone in the family a womanizer? Was someone in the house promiscuous? All this is shadow work. Looking at the soil you grew up in. That's what you grew up in. When you start looking at that, that's the frequency you was born on. That's gonna let you know how far you need to raise your frequency, how much work you need to do by looking at the soil you grew up on. Does that make sense? Tell me if that makes sense. Because I break this down to people like that. And sometimes we don't want to look at where we come from. I have to let you know that you already got trauma in your bloodline. I already know our ancestors come from. So I can pretty much look at you and tell most of us got alcoholism in there. We got all types of family members that had addicts. A lot of us had come from narcissistic parents because that's what that chattel slavery and all that racism stuff gets you. It gets you a whole bunch of narcissism. You got to be mentally sick to do that. Okay, and it just breeds, and trauma brings in other oppressive spirits. Trauma opens you up to bring curses into your bloodline, and that's what we getting rid of. I already know it's there, and so when you come to me telling me that you're not doing the work, I understand what you're going on. Ain't nothing you can tell me that's gonna shock me that's going on with you, because I come from raggedness. Had to do a lot of work to get where I'm at now, and I'm not where I want to be, but I'm still doing work. Okay, no better than you. I still struggle. I still struggle. Okay, but when I see you, you in there. It's about doing the work, baby. Stop repeating the patterns. That's shadow work. I'm trying to break the generation curse. Good for you, most known and unknown. I kiss my children. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. I try to be more affectionate with mine. I raise my children differently, not to grow up like that. Yes, after looking at me like I was alone, I've always felt like I wasn't in the right place. Okay. All right. So, I kiss my kid and say I'm proud of you. Okay. So that's what shadow work is. And you have to be accountable. And when you're doing it alone, who you playing with? Who is you playing with? Because ain't no medicine happening there if you're doing it alone. And if you're doing shadow work, you realize that a part of your mind, I'm just gonna put it in a simple term. You may not even like it. You realize your mind got sick interacting with society. So now you got to dispel this crap out of your mind. Thank y'all for sharing. Now you got to dispel this crap out of your mind that false programming that they didn't put in there. Okay, and you didn't do it alone. The school did it, the government did it, your mama did it. So many people was giving you programs, and you think you're gonna be able to do all that by yourself, and you think that it's gonna take what 2 or 3 months? No, it might take a lifetime. They start programming you from the time you came out the womb, and plan to program you to the time you go into the tomb. Okay, this is how they said that. I'm sorry it happened. You know, I know it ain't fair because I get pissed off about it too. Cried, got mad, told the ancestors it ain't fair. This healing is hard. I got to rewire my whole damn mind because these people lie to me, and then the customers want to keep lying. Yeah, you know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's why I have to come up here and straight up and tell you. Yes, I was raised by my great aunt, and she was 105 when I passed, so she was in her 80s raising me. Ooh, I bet that was tough. I got a lot of wisdom from her. I bet you did, baby. Many people only do it for temporary. It takes years forever. Yeah, because and you're always changing and shifting. So you are composed of dark and light. So integration is, you know, you have to get to a point. This is what it is. This is where I'm at right now. Okay. And then accept this is what I do. You know, this is where I am right now. I don't like these parts of myself, but I love myself and I'm going to love myself whole. Accepting even the dark, you know, dark places of yourself. Yeah, they will. You have some people, it'll come up out of nowhere. It'll come up out of nowhere. It's just your body. Then you know, okay, it's time to do that shit. I had some stuff going on with my mom that came up. She started coming up, and I did not want to think about her. Wasn't ready to really. And the ancestors been telling me, you need to just forgive her, forgive her, forgive her. And I'm like, that was so hard. But then last night I started doing some meditation. It was like, you have to do this for your bloodline. We know what she did to you. We were sick. You have to tell yourself a new story. We are sick. We were sick. They were sick. This is the story. Yeah, we can call them horrible people, but the fact of the matter was that they were sick people. She was sick. And we doing it for us, you doing it for you because we don't want that again, that type of energy to get stuck in you and in the bloodline. So you have to move it out. It does not mean accepted behavior. It means that you understand what was going on. Okay. So and my mom's been passed on, I think about 3 years now. Okay. And once you get in here, and I have to explain this to people, we're not bashing our parents. We're not bashing our loved ones. Yes, we know they did the best they could. We understand that, but we also hold them accountable. And we also understand that we have a society that promotes mental illness. That's simple. They do. They want your mind and spirit sick, and that's the only way I can put that. I can't make that no plainer to you. So they make everybody sick. They make the environment was sick. You need to go back and look at that. Okay? That's the best way I can. And you have to look at yourself like that because I had to look at myself. I was sick. It's a cancer of the mind. Racism, all that crazy crap. That's what that is. They put that stuff in you to make your mind sick. Okay? And now we sitting up here fighting bipolar, PTSD, high anxiety, all kinds of stuff. Code switching. We need to acknowledge our pain in order to heal and grow. Yes. I have the hardest part over there with my community, getting them to talk about their feelings, getting them open up, telling, and then putting their self first, loving on themselves. I have the hardest time with that. I'm like, slow down. Now you ain't got, I'm constantly, and that be one of our biggest issues. You think it's something else? No, it's the love and care that you give for yourself. Okay, that's why I said, who do it heal your life if you let it? It's more than just a spell. You start using that first to heal yourself and your bloodline. That's my take on that. You guys, I'm gonna get off my soapbox about that. Sometimes it's hard to express your feelings when some don't understand and fail to understand. When I see people share their feelings in there, I don't judge their feelings nowhere the other. If you come in that meeting and say, I'm pissed off, and you come in there and you say, I'm pissed off for everybody right now. I don't fuck the world. You can just come in there. I'm not gonna say nothing. Thank you for sharing it. How do you feel now? I'm not gonna tell you shouldn't feel like that. Those are your feelings. They're neither right nor wrong. That's what you're feeling right now. Okay? And we don't know how to just do that and not fix it. Let people feel the way they feel it. Obviously those feelings are telling you something. And we need to have spaces to again share our feelings without any judgment. And then stop telling people how to feel. Let them feel what they feel. Okay, if they're pissed off, they need to let out some steam. If they're sad right now, let them be sad. Okay? Shouldn't have to justify your feelings. There's no, let you feel how you feel. Okay? And that's what needs to happen in spaces like that is stop kind of trying to, judge it. You notice every time we start crying, people come to us and want us to stop crying. Why do you want them to stop crying? Let them cry. Don't tell them to stop. Let it flow. It needs to flow. Stop trying to, console people or comfort people when they're feeling their pain. Let them feel their pain. They need to feel that. Okay? We have a problem with letting people feel their pain. We can show up for them and let them feel their pain. Just holding space for them, allowing them to be. That's what happens when you're able to share your emotions and talk about your feelings. You are just allowing a person to be. You're not, that's where they're at right now. Because one day you're going to go up in there and you're going to have the same type of feeling one day. We just have not learned how to, again, try to foster healthy emotions and just open a space where we can talk about feelings without trying to change how a person feels. That's going to happen on its own. It's changing now once they open their mouth, because once they open their mouth and then somebody else in the group share, they might start shifting. That's what happens when you're in a group session. When somebody start opening their mouth, then your shifting happen. You'll start hearing your ancestors speak through another person, or your spirit guides start speaking through another person. That's what happens when you get into a group meeting. Because all of us are there to shift at higher vibration. And so you'll have different people on higher vibrations in the group that will do a share that'll probably give you the medicine that you need. Can't do it alone. You didn't do it by yourself. You didn't program yourself. Nobody programs themselves to be crazy and take on false beliefs. Nobody wants to program themselves like that. That only happens when somebody's doing that to you unknowingly. Okay, you didn't have a choice in that. You didn't know you was being programmed with that. So now you have to get in spaces with people that are trying to get some sense and trying to do better. That's just how it works, you guys. You know, I don't like it either because I mean, ancestors, I didn't like any of that. Okay, I didn't like the medicine I had to get the other night, but I felt the release writing that letter to my mom, and doing a little ritual with that. You know, doing a lot of release and forgiveness, and sometimes you'll have to do that. Now, will I have to do that releasing again? Probably so. If I start feeling heavy again or something come up, then I'll do another releasing ritual. But you do it as many times as you need to. You be consistent until you start feeling the shifts in yourself. Something else might come up. That's just the way it goes. Shadow work and healing is never ending. Whoever telling you they got to a finish line, they telling the damn lie. Ain't nobody get to no finish line. Not like that. This is ongoing work. It is steady spiritual refinement. You think you're gonna buy a computer and it's not gonna get any updates? A computer is always updating, right? Right? You always get updates, right? The iPhone always updating, right? Same thing with your mind. Nothing is different. You're gonna always be getting updated information and throwing stuff out. Now, I hope that helped your understanding of that. Okay. So let's jump in here. I'm off my soapbox on it. I'm done. Because you guys know how I get about shadow work and ancestors work because it go hand in hand. We're going to talk about the saints, and a lot of people will ask me, because once we got into our book, I was able, and look at our resources, I was able to show our community where hoodoo will run into voodoo. Because I got too many people asking me that, and I think I know the reason why they be asking me that, because hoodoo be start running you into voodoo. That's right, your mind is a computer. Exactly. Okay, so a lot of people have asked me that. They were like, Miss Penny, is voodoo and hoodoo? What's the difference between hoodoo and voodoo? I've had that several times, and I know why people are asking me, because hoodoo is running into voodoo, and you start seeing that when you look at the saints. And so we're going to do and there was a couple of saints that I wanted to review as well to give you more insight on that in case you were interested in that. Another reason is a good reason to work with the saints is when your stuff is not working, you probably gonna need more help. Okay? If you done did that thing over and over again and you say, oh, that ritual is just like hidden. You might have to go work with a spirit. You might need to go work with an angel or a saint. It happens. Okay? So let's dive in here. In both hoodoo and voodoo, the saints stand at the crossroads where African spirituality, Catholic tradition, and ancestral reverence meet. These spirits serve as bridges between worlds, carrying prayers, offerings, and intentions from human realm to the divine. Though people often try to separate hoodoo from voodoo, both are children of the same ancestral parent. They are the same ancestors. So, especially when you start looking at New Orleans voodoo. That's what I'm saying. How y'all gonna separate? And they want to keep it separate. Humans want to keep that separate. We do. Us humans want to keep that separate, but when you start following the ancestors, I won't keep my mouth shut. Okay? Born with both the soul of Africa and indigenous people here, shaped by survival in the Americas. When ancestors were enslaved or captured, they were forced to adopt Christianity, yet through spiritual genius and resilience, they found ways to hide their deities' ancestral spirits behind the faces of Catholic saints. What the outside world saw as saints on church altars were to the initiated spirits of the old world, Loa, Orisha, Nkinsi, and ancestors in new forms. In New Orleans, these two paths merged naturally through a living faith known as New Orleans spiritualism. So New Orleans went through a thing through spiritualism too. And what we found out, and you guys will probably see it in your resources, and I didn't know this, But did you know that Marie Laveau, if I'm not mistaken, started off as a hoodoo practitioner? Marie Laveau started out as a hoodoo practitioner. It tripped me out. Okay. A New World syncretic tradition shaped by Catholic, Pentecostal, voodoo, and hoodoo influences. New Orleans spiritualism honors saints, spirits, ancestors together in a sacred blend of prayer, possession, prophecy, and healing. In this faith, the saints are called upon not only through rituals, but through song, dance, theatrical display forms that carry echoes of both church and ancestral memory. Yeah, somebody say I knew that. Okay, had this I've been doing since a child, had no idea what to do. Yep. Okay. It tripped me out when I said, oh, okay, so she's hoodoo too. Okay, so she's hoodoo too. And so they were explaining why a lot of people uh call on Marie Laveau as well, and why they kind of voodoo and hoodoo will meet in the middle. And you'll see that going, especially in New Orleans. This sacred merging birthed to a blend of spiritual language where St. Peter became Papa Legba, St. Anthony became Ishu, St. Martha carried mysteries of Dambala and Aida Wedo. These parallels were never about deception, but adaptation, a way to keep the spirits alive. In voodoo, the saints are seen as mass mirrors of the spirits of the Lord. They honored on altars, invoked in ceremonies, served part in ritual, offering songs and prayers are given to them, recognizing their power to intercede between the physical and spiritual world. So you see that going on there. They went on and they synchronized the Loas, some Orishas, again with a lot of these saints. Okay, so you'll see that in voodoo. But then you go on the other flip side of the Catholic Church. Now all this is going on in the Catholic Church. You're seeing the voodoo going on and the hoodoo going on at the same time. Isn't that something? I'm like, this is going on all at the same time. And it's like, so everybody up in there conjuring, everybody up in there, most people up in there conjuring. I was like, oh my gosh, this is something. Our ancestors just so clever and so genius. They didn't let anything get in the way. They didn't. I don't think they even let their spiritual practices in the way they practice get in their way. They seem to have been working together in some way. Because I say this because you'll see some of the ritual exchange uh, among the African spiritual systems, especially with hoodoo and voodoo. You'll see some of the ritual exchange, even some of the deities that we or saints that we have in hoodoo. We're seeing a lot of exchange go on there. So that's why when somebody starts telling me stuff and they think that they only are restricted, they're restricted to certain things, I have to say no. I can't tell you where your ancestors is going to take you. I can't tell you that. I don't know, because all of this is ancestral. So how can I determine that for you? I don't know where your ancestors is going to take you. Okay. So in hoodoo, the practice of people turning to saints when their spells fall is rooted in a blend of folk religious practices and views of saints as powerful intercessors with God. So when we're looking at saints too, and I meant to talk about this. We're looking at saints too. We're also start to look more at ancestors if we're looking directly at saints. I would say the same thing with voodoo because voodoo is ancestral because a lot of these lords they calling on were ancestors. You got to go through that tomorrow, y'all, when we go through saboteurs. I'm gonna break that down to you to help you understand that too. But yeah, so but hey, some of our ancestors, from what I understood, they would go to saints because some of them felt like a part of voodoo was witchcraft or it was bad, so to speak. So you had ancestors that was like that too. So they would rather go to a saint. They're trying to stay in alignment with the church. Okay, they would go to a saint because they wanted to respect the religion and they want to get accused of anything. So they start working with saints just to stay in alignment with the religion. Does that make sense? And you have people doing it now. That wasn't a shock to me, but I was like, okay. They didn't want to do that because they were scared of hell and fire and all that, so they started working with saints, some of them. Okay. And then you had some of them that they would do spell work and it just wouldn't work. So they would have to go work with a saint. Okay. This behavior often arises from a perceived hierarchy of spiritual power or belief that the saints offer a more legitimate, effective source of help when more other methods like magic are seen as ineffective or failed. A failed spell can be seen as an indication that the problem requires intervention from a source of power greater than the spell could harness. Saints, as friends of God in heaven, are considered to have immense spiritual influence. They believe the saints can provide directly through God's grace, effectively bypassing the limitation of their own magic. So you will have them working with a variety of different saints when they couldn't get the work done. Now, if this is going on with you, don't be upset at yourself. Don't start looking at it. It just happens. And maybe that saint has the medicine that you need. There could be a variety of things going on. Maybe you had an ancestor that worked with that saint. Okay, that your ancestors are probably guiding you to work with. But sometimes that happens, and maybe you're supposed to have a deep relationship with saints. Maybe that's your thing. You got some people that are just good with working with saints. They good with working with spirits. Okay, that may be your thing. So it's a variety of ways you can look at this. So if you are having trouble with your work and you can't get something going, this is an option that our ancestors use. Hello, Black Magic Mike. Welcome to the live stream, YouTube family and TikTok family. Hope you're getting some out of these live streams. I hope the community is too. If you get a chance to hear a second lecture, some of you, so you get a chance to hear a second lecture. Okay, so that is an option that you have too. And a lot of people don't talk about that. They focus a lot on the spells. I wish people would come here and talk about more of these options. When something doesn't work, have you considered working with the saint? Because there are other options. There are other safer options. A lot of people work with Saint Expedite. A lot of people work with Saint Peter. And we'll go more into one of these for sure, Miss Penny. It all connects. It sure does. Okay. So again, you have options in here. If something does not work, your spiritual practitioner should be giving you more options. If they couldn't get the work done, or if you are in I don't know, a community, these are other options that you can take. How do you ask a saint, and how do you know if they say yes? Again, we have guidebooks in there because when I posted all this information on the saints, you have all the guidebooks, the invocations, what they like, how to set up your table, what their offerings are in the guidebook. All of them are different. I'm getting ready to probably next month, if we can. I'm trying to find more because the saints, it's an endless list of saints, you guys. And most of them got their own, they have written their own canon, or someone has written something about their life to give you great indication of what they like and how to set up their table. So you also can find a lot of these resources at the Catholic website, where you can download free PDF books and things like that on particular sites. Yes, yes, yes. Like I said, they be conjuring in the church all the time. Okay, that's why I have to ask the Catholics, where y'all get y'all religion from? Because I know ours is older than yours. So y'all like the copycat stuff. Okay, we already know you got them 10 commandments from ancient Kemet. So where your religion come from? And then one thing I wanted to keep in mind too when we look at these sites, because when you start looking at, I'm going to take y'all, get it nerdy on you guys, so stay with me. When you start looking at these saints, especially when you start looking at the popes, priests, I don't want to say pope, priests, when you start looking at some of the priests in church, when they took over all those priests in ancient Egypt and all these indigenous priests and things like that, where do you think they went? Where do you think they just left? Hey, Ethel Strength. Hello, official library. Where do you think they went? It tripped out. A lot of them got converted into Catholicism. A lot of them, Saint Cyprian is a prime example of that. Saint Cyprian was a master occultist that was converted into Catholicism. A lot of them took their spirit. You will start going in Catholicism, and you start reading about some of these saints. Some of them were occultists, and they were very fluent in esoteric knowledge and wisdom. It didn't go anywhere. They just changed the name. So you still had Egyptian priests in there. Again, when they did a research and conversion, a lot of them were trained in esoteric or occult knowledge but became Catholic priests. It never stopped. Okay? You'll see it, and you start looking at a lot of these older priests in there. Again, the further you go back, a lot of these priests are going to be looking like you. Especially when you start looking at the Ethiopian priests. Oh, congratulations, Marissa. Okay. So again, they didn't go anywhere. Hi, Lamarcus, Lamar Curtis. Okay. They didn't go anywhere. You'll see a lot of these priests. They were into things. They were into deeper spiritual knowledge. But the Catholic hurry up and put them under their wings, and a lot of their writings and stuff is in their vaults. You remember they wanted to monopolize all spiritual systems. They wanted to be over all spiritual systems. They told you whether or not you had a legitimate religion. That's why a lot of our ancestors scattered to form religions when they had a right to. That's why voodoo became a religion so it can be recognized by the Catholic Church. They're kind of forced to do that. I'm sorry. You can DM me your time, your date, your place of birth, and your email address. If you're here on TikTok on the astro reading, just DM me. I usually respond pretty frequently. I mean, soon. It don't take me that long to respond. Okay. So again, you have a lot of these, and they're not gonna tell you that. You won't know that until you start looking at these Catholic priests, or I start showing you information, and you be like, "Oh my gosh, some of these priests studied the occult. They knew about esoteric knowledge and all that." Yeah, it was okay as long as they was doing it under the church, and the church wanted rights to those writings and information that they have. They got all types of writings and things set up in their Catholic Church. Don't you think they don't? They do. Okay, they have all the information on ceremonial magic. They're always doing it. So why wouldn't they have that? And in order to monopolize all the spiritual systems, you have to force these people, because they didn't. A lot of these priests, they didn't want to give up uh, their relationship with the divine. They felt called to do it, and so in order to keep doing it, they had to convert to Catholicism. You'll see that going on over and over again, over and over again. You'll see that going on. Okay. So keep that in mind. They didn't go anywhere. And so too, when you start looking at a lot of these saints, too, they become indigenous people in our community. Sometimes some of these saints are canonized by force because of the people. The people force the Catholics to do it. They didn't want to do it, but because the people raised so much hell about that person, they had no choice but to canonize them. You're seeing the same thing going on with Santa Muerte. The church said, no, 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 we're not going to canonize her. That now, because she, they just make her look bad. Okay? They make her look bad. And there you got her devotees saying, yes, you will. Yes, even the folks in the church. So I don't know how that's going to go, but they usually end up that Catholic Church gonna end up canonizing her, whether they want to or not. I know what's gonna happen. Them people gonna win every time because they ain't gonna stop doing it. Okay, that's usually what happens. They're not gonna stop doing it. And this has happened to the Catholic Church a lot of times, and they might as well accept. They're gonna have to accept her one way or the other because they're not gonna stop doing it. They're gonna have to find a way to canonize her. But that's a topic that's been coming up a lot. The same thing. We just talk about the same thing with Martin Luther King. They didn't want to recognize Martin Luther King, give us a Martin Luther King Day, none of that stuff. We kept raising hell. No, 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 no. You gonna give him a day? No, 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 no. We kept raising hell about this and that. Finally, they gave us a Martin Luther King Street. They all over America now. Just Martin Luther King somewhere in your neighborhood, in your city somewhere. Okay. So they got a Martin Luther King street. And then they went on to say, okay, we're going to go further. We're going to give him a day. We're going to give him a day. Because he's just so tired of y'all talking. We're going to give y'all ancestors a day. Okay. Really, more than that, more than them, they same thing with the Juneteenth, the Black History goes on and on. Because we kept raising hell, we're going to have this day. We're gonna have Black History, whether you want to do this or not. This is gonna be our Black History. We're gonna be doing this. So again, you see how we have to force our way, force them to recognize, and most times the people win. Okay, we had Martin Luther King Park near my apartment in Madrid, Spain. Look at that, in Madrid, Spain. That is something. Right in Spain. Okay, so the people usually win. They fight against the people, but the power was in the people. I wish the people understood that, but the power was in the people. Okay? And so we have forced them to do things that they did not want to do. So you'll see that, you'll see again when you start looking at these saints as well, they will start feeling ancestral. Okay? The more you work with your ancestors lead you to work with them. The energy feels so familiar. I don't know. That's the only way I can explain it. It feels because you guys know I'm weird. I told you about this little gauge I got when I could tell with somebody some kin to me. It's the crazy thing that happened when I could tell somebody in my bloodline. I can really tell. I don't know how I do it. It's a thing that happens. Maybe it's a DNA thing, but hopefully you will feel that once you start working with some of these saints, because that's what I be feeling. Yes, that's how I feel about reparations. That's what a different Martin Luther in Spain. Okay, somebody said that's a different Martin Luther in Spain. That's what Rilla Da Alatian said. She said that's a different Martin Luther King in Spain. Okay, so let's go on here. Let's see. There are traditions such as certain forms of Italian and Latin American folk magic where Catholic elements are blended with folk practices. In these syncretic belief systems, practitioners might work with saints, candles in a way that share similarities with the aspects of magic, making the transition from spell work to saint veneration a fluid one of some individuals. Now, when you start going into saint veneration too, I would say you probably want to look at a little bit of spiritualism because you're tapping into spiritualism as well when you start again trying to get these saints to work with you. There was another thing I was going to say. Another thing, the people I know, and don't sleep on them, because we on the same landmass. And I said this before, and I will say it again: the same damn people. when folks got to separate and telling us different stories and stuff. Okay, but if you look at the Latino community, they seem to have, and you'll see that in different cultures. Like Ifa has all the oldest information on the Orisha. So when you look at the Hispanics or the Latinos, Lord, they keep changing your name. I'm not trying to disrespect you, but they keep changing your name like they keep changing our name. They seem to have a better record of working with saints. They seem to have a further back, it seems to have more records with them, correct records with working with saints. Okay, so that's why you'll see us too go into Latino, a Bruja sort of magic because of this. Believe me, they up in their conjuring. They're using saints. Okay, the Latina community never stopped. Okay, our ancestors run deep in them as well. That was a different one. Okay. Hello, how you doing, Southern Goddess? Okay, so again, um, what am I trying to say here? You'll be able, again, if you're interested, let me start there. If you're interested in working with these saints, like I said, the Hispanic community has a really good record of working with saints. If you're interested in working with saints, usually in our community, I don't give you anything without a guidebook. I don't. You're gonna have again quality resources on helping you set up a table and how to petition a saint. Any resource I'm giving you is going to be for that. I'm not going to have you. You're going to have clear directions, step by step, word for word. If there's any questions about the guidelines or anything about you setting up your table, then reach out to me. But usually, if I'm talking about this, if I'm giving you a resource, it's going to show you how to set up a table. All you got to do is be consistent with it. It's going to give you everything you need. However, to be a good student at your practice, I always recommend you do your own research. You might find something I missed. Okay, you might find something that brings a little edge to the work you're doing. I'm Filipino. Can I and can I walk with them as well? You're as again, we're talking about saints. This is a folk magic that's practiced not just among hoodoo practitioners, but it seems to be practiced among a lot of cultures. So I would say, yeah, if you got a Catholic church there, uh, I would say, yeah, because we're just talking about working with the saints. So, and a lot of people among folk cultures have worked with saints. So I would say, yeah. Because you see the voodoo, they went in there and synchronized that. You see that the Latino community, the Hispanic community, they go in there and work with the saints. Okay, like and then the church want to get mad, but the Catholics, you open up the door to conjure. And hoodoo, you open up the door to that. That's why I have to ask you where you got your religion from, because y'all doing the same thing in voodoo. Same thing we do in hoodoo. We sanctify our ancestors too, just like you sanctifying them folks. We sanctify folks over here too. If they was a good ancestor, we sanctify them. That's what you're doing. I just got my thing on. We really talking. That's what you're doing. Okay. What's the question? My grandmother used to do necromancy, but covered it with Catholic religion. See there, look at Natural Collection LLC. She said our grandma used to do necromancy. When I said necromancy in here, somebody was like, "Ooh, Miss Penny, that sounds so harsh." I'm like, I don't know what else to call it because that's what the folks calling it. That's what you're doing. Anytime you calling on Jesus, you're doing necromancy because that man is dead. Y'all sitting in the Bible talking about all those people that's dead. You doing necromancy, okay? Acting like I did. I didn't know. Yep. Discussing Martin Luther in Spain. That's your thoughts. I don't know what it is. I am fascinated with it. It's so much information. I know it is a lot of information. Surely, I probably gave you a good starting point. If you can get started with it, it'll be simplified. Wherever I have a question about a chart, you did for me. Okay, I'm waiting on your question. Unshackled emotions. Whenever you're ready to answer it, ready to ask it. Okay. So they're going to have a lot of that information. I like looking at their records when it comes to saint veneration because y'all they be knowing stuff. Okay. They be knowing stuff. The ancestors took my little butt right on over there and I looked at their stuff. I was like, oh, they be knowing some stuff. So you want to look at their things. Don't look at just one thing because you're not going to get all the information in one place just studying hoodoo. You got to remember that our ancestors went abroad. You're going to limit yourself if you're looking at hoodoo from a Christian perspective only. You because it's not Christian. Greetings, everybody. I have a question. Okay, unshackled emotions. Ask your question. I don't know. You keep asking me that question. Ask me your question, baby. I don't see your question. Okay. Did it resonate with you? Or do you think, oh, okay, you're driving. Okay. Did it resonate with you? And sometimes we have to do some work to get in alignment with our chart. I did a tarot reading for someone the other day, and she was ironically in alignment with her chart. She just had some details in it that she want to get more clarity on. Um, and sometimes you just need more clarity with the detail. The chart is going to lay it out, but we still have to go through these little details and transitions to see the shifts in our life and make choices to see the shifts in our life. So again, sometimes a reading is required when you have questions about these little details that's going to help you get to the other side. How does Santeria and Hoodoo and Voodoo different, or if how they much they're together? When you start telling me, when people start asking me the difference into them, and I have to tell you from an ancestor's perspective because I follow the ancestors. I'm not religious. I'm not religious, so you're gonna get a different answer from me, and it's probably gonna piss some of these other folks out that's in these religions. But when you follow ancestors, there is no difference because all of them are ancestral. Every last one of them are ancestral. Not one of them move without the power of the ancestors. And I can't tell you your ancestors ain't gonna take you over there. Okay, I can't tell you your ancestors ain't gonna take you over there. They might take your little butt right on over there, or they might have these deities start pulling up on you. You start seeing popping up in different areas in your life. Because you know what happens. Your ancestors went everywhere. So I don't know what they might have you picking up some laws in voodoo. They might have you picking up some orishas. They might have, I don't know. Okay. You ain't going to know that either until you start being consistent at doing your altar work and you start having some experiences. I'm not religious either. Spiritual, yes, though. Can you practice hoodoo if you're biracial? I don't see why not. If you of African diaspora descent, I don't see why not. Okay, I'm a Louisiana Creole and was raised. Uh, you right there? Are you still in Louisiana? It's true until you get the reading. Okay, it's true until you get the reading. I don't know what that means, Chriselle. What did you say? Ops.
She said, can you practice hoodoo? I'm not religious either. Okay. I'm just reading through these comments, you guys. Do you still live in Spain? Oh, he was asking Black Man. Okay. So again, you when you look at the Hispanics too, the Latinos, they have a lot of inside information. It's almost like too, they have a lot of esoteric knowledge when it comes to the spiritualism working with the saints. I hope that made more sense. So yes, we do look at their books because again, we get to look at too, their approach to working with saints. They usually take a hoodoo sort of approach too when they work with saints, but they have worked with these spirits so long, they know the ins and outs of working with them. That's why I say you can't just be looking at one way perspective at this, because this happened to your ancestors abroad. And in order to understand hoodoo and to build a solid practice, I recommend we do look at a variety of them. Okay, our traditions, culture from some ancestors is demonic. This is probably not the video for you. You're in the wrong place. Probably need to go somewhere else. Okay, I'm not gonna go there with you with that. You sound just like them colonizer people. And I appreciate if you go somewhere else with that. Please do. This ain't the right video for you. Okay? This like them, you got them demons over there in that church over there. Okay? You got them demons over there in that church. You got the people don't even want to hurt. You got a demon probably up there opening his mouth, telling you the right thing, telling you what to do, and you doing it. Get out of here with that. The people that gave you what they gave you didn't have no power in it. It didn't have no power in it till your ancestors put some power in it. And then when they start laying them on their damn back, now it's demonic. I don't want nothing that ain't no power in it. They gave you something that absolutely that was powerless, and you love the powerlessness in it. And you get mad because other people find the power in it. You sound somewhere. You need to get somewhere and sit down and be quiet. Get somewhere and be quiet. Tell him how they get in prayer line and then get the private side. They gotta okay. Okay, I'm sorry, I meant the further investigation your call and it's done. Okay, I don't know what you said, baby. I'm reading your sign, taking the money out of the church, the past is getting rich, and they staying stagnated and broke. Look at unshackle the emotions in the thing. I'm sorry, my ancestors. Get out of here with that stuff. Here, coming over here with that stuff. Just as crazy as you want to be. Y'all just crazy. Something wrong with you. Something the matter with you. And you sitting around there, as many churches sitting around there, it should be no broke people around there. Shouldn't be no homeless people around there. None of that should be going on with all them damn churches that they got sitting up in America. It should be no homelessness at all. Don't ask me because my tongue, I've been to say something. Look, look here. I wish they was all demolished. They need to be demolished. And I'm putting that, I'm being nice when I say that. All of them need to be demolished. Because they ain't doing nobody no good. Because if their church is really doing something, that raggedy person, they wouldn't be sitting up there looking at that raggedy man sitting up there. Okay? You sound crazy. You need to go find something to do. And if your God is that powerful, go do something with that raggedy man. Bringing yourself up here. You need to be somewhere praying that man up out of there. What's wrong with you? What's the matter with you? That's why I said that mental illness run deep over there. Run deep over there. You got too much stuff to fix. You claim you're supposed to be fixing. Every time I think about, when I think about y'all, and I ain't want to bring this up. When I think about them people, the ancestors, the folks that's sitting up in them churches now, and I know I probably shouldn't be thinking like this, y'all. But I be thinking to myself, them all the coon reincarnated ancestors. And I know I should be thinking like that. I know I shouldn't be thinking like that. But that's how y'all act like the coons. That's how y'all be acting though. That's how I be thinking of them all the coon ancestors and reincarnated sitting up in that damn church like that. Cause you sit up there and you say stuff just like them. Don't run from master. We gotta stay here. He good to us. Don't rock the boat. That's how y'all act. I be like, is them the coon ancestors and reincarnated through these damn fools? That's why y'all stuck in that karmic loop like that. I said, what the hell going on with y'all? I can't. I can't. I be glad when y'all wake up. I be glad when y'all wake up because the stuff you don't even think about what you saying. Y'all sit up there following dead people. You calling on somebody who's dead. You practice necromancy, then you go in to practice cannibalism because you go in, you take communion, you drinking his blood and eating his flesh. You do that, and then come here and, and try to accept righteous and stuff. When y'all stuff is so, I'm gonna get on y'all soon though. I'm gonna get on you soon so you'll really understand what you got going on over there. We're gonna be covering that topic this week. So you can no longer be in denial. Because if you come to this live stream, you're gonna get that truth. You're gonna be able to see what's going on with you. I'm doing okay, Afro. Hello, hello, TikTok family. Hello, YouTube family. They think, yeah, it's to keep on putting that man on the cross. Keep on putting it. Y'all don't do absolutely nothing. Boy, if you knew how I feel every time I pass or see a mega church or a church on a corner, that's why I say, God, I'm so glad I ain't got the power. Because if I had the power, when none of y'all be standing, not like that. Not like that. You don't do absolutely. You just keeping the community sick with your sickness. That's all you some brainwashing centers. That's all you are. And then try to act like you better than somebody else. And that's all you do is practice cannibalism and necromancy up in there. Talk about dead people. Talk about what the man do and don't do what the man do, and then tell somebody what they doing. Are you crazy? You sound like something wrong with you. Then you wonder why folks don't want to be bothered with you. Nobody want to be bothered with you like that. Get somewhere and sit down and be quiet. Dancing and praising among some native traditions, dancing medicine. Okay. Let me get you up out of here. Cause go somewhere else and preach that to somebody who want to be brainwashed. Don't nobody up in here want to be brainwashed with it. Get yourself on. Correct me if I'm wrong. When I'm reading this done, not all people have a calling in the practice. I think all of us have a gift into the practice in some form of another. All of us come here with a gift. I don't think a soul that comes here doesn't have a special gift. Now, whether or not you realize it, that's up to you. Whether or not you choose to tap into it, it's up to you. But I know our ancestors don't make no junk. And all of us come here with the gift, whether we think it's large, small, influential, or not. We all have a special gift. And we may not see it. We probably don't even I was doing a reading with my yesterday, and this woman got, oh my gosh, bless her soul. This woman is she is a root worker. But because there's not enough support and pouring into her and the support she really needs, she doesn't feel confident enough to walk in it. But she is a total, some of us, we be root workers, we be healing people, we do well in our family, but when it's time to fly high, we get scared, we don't want to do it. We're afraid of what people gonna think about us. We're afraid of how our family gonna look at us. But they already been coming to you. You already been healing on them and doing stuff already. So what are you afraid of? Some of us been doing it with our family, but when it's time to walk in our purpose, when it's time for us to be uh reap the benefits of our gift, we're afraid of what people gonna think when they have to fairly exchange energy with us to access our gift. And some of y'all have a lot of y'all have gifts, but you're so afraid to walk in it because you're scared of what other people might think. And the first thing I'm gonna tell you with that, you gonna have to. That's none of your business what other people think about you. That's in their sick mind. Let them think what they want to think. If you're gonna walk this path, you cannot give a damn about what other people think. What's more important, your relationship with your spirit guides and your ancestors, or with these ragged ass people that don't even know themselves? Which one? When I put it to you that way, you make a decision real quick. Make a decision real quick because you know these folks is raggedy, some of them. So why would you let their opinion of you? Some of them don't even have their life is out of whack. So what you're letting their opinion uh make a difference to you for? It don't even matter. It don't matter a hill of beans. And some of them wish they can do the things that you do, but they're not courageous or brave enough to do it. Some people mad at you because you're brave. How dare she be able to do that? How come I can't do that? Because you won't get up and just do it. You too stuck in your head about it. You too worried about this and that. You worried about you don't know more than her. I'm not like her. It don't no you. That's what count. That's why everybody. That's why you need to be doing what you're doing because the people that need you have a specific medicine for a specific people. Everybody ain't supposed to like you. I'll be worried that everybody liked me. That means I'm not doing something right. I'm people pleasing. I'm doing something somewhere, and I'm not doing that with you. I'm not being authentic. If everybody like me, everybody, I always wonder when I see everybody liking a lot of person like that. Uh, everybody say everybody like me. I'm getting along. I'm always a side eyeing it because most time those people come. It turns out it don't turn out good. Okay, I'm seeing that a lot on these platforms now. And what I see on here is some people they probably don't even realize it because they vibrate at a certain frequency. You like raggedy stuff and you don't know it. You think gossip and talking about celebrities and all that stuff, you think that's normal. That's not normal. You think focusing on other people's business and all that stuff is normal. That's not normal. Okay. You think practitioners going back and forth with each other and having animosity with each other, you think that's normal? That's not normal. Practitioners should be having no problems like that. It should be there's something going on there deeper. That's not normal. Somebody's not doing their work. These folks ain't doing their work. They're getting in here for the wrong reason. Because practitioners, if they are healers, they should know their medicine, not shouldn't feel intimidated by each other and should be coming up with ways how to bring the medicine together so they can help more people. That's what needs to be going on. Not trying to compete. That's what's going on now on this platform. Spiritualists competing with each other instead of coming together, finding a way to bring the medicine to the community together. You ask me, it should be an ancestral church. It should be a it should be a big ass hoodoo church with a big old ancestor altar on it in it. It should be no practitioners working by themselves. It should be practitioners, hoodoo practitioners. It should be a church with none but hoodoo practitioners, conjures in there working on folks, helping people. People going there to get service. That's how I see it. So you start asking me stuff, I'm gonna think outside the box. I'm not gonna think like other folks. So if you want to answer like that for me, you gonna get that's why people be asking me, girl, where the hell you come from? I come from right here. I just don't think like that. And the more you do your work, the less human you gonna think. You ain't gonna think like other folks. You just not. And some people don't like that. They not gonna like you. They let you know you're doing something right when everybody don't like you. Because when people got bull crap in you, they're not gonna like high vibrations. So that's good. They're getting away from you because they're not ready to vibe that high. They're not ready to do that type of work. Hi, Wonder Boy. Okay, they're not ready to do that. And a lot of these spiritual, they ain't tore away that ego because if you really tore away that ego, you'll be finding ways to work together. You'll be bringing that together. You guys will be having a whole full platform together. You'll be complementing each other. You'll be doing events and stuff together with each other. You'll be coming up with something. There will be no jealousy, no competition, and none of that. You'll find ways to, you see, we start focusing like that, abundance and prosperity is going to flow naturally. And that's really what the people need. But nobody's coming to that conclusion. Okay. So you seeing a lot of that go on here today. And I'm not saying it's their fault. Maybe they haven't shifted to that yet. I don't know what the issue is, and I'm not saying it's their fault, but I definitely see a gap that's going on there. Okay, if you ask me something, you're gonna get an out the box answer. It's gonna be probably different from what somebody else will say. I thought people didn't like me. Then Spiritville, they are actually obsessed. Okay, collaboration is key. Yes. Okay, so it don't matter who don't like you or whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, and these people don't, and then some of us think somebody know more than us, or they better than us. No, nobody's better than you. Nobody knows more than you. You just need to support, believe in yourself, and be more self confident. That's all that's happening here. People don't know more. Some of these people up here faking and driving and don't know nothing. Okay, they don't know a lot. Okay, and I'm not gonna say I know everything. I don't. I'm a practitioner. I'm learning just like everybody else. Sometimes I learned something from you guys in my chat here on my live. Somebody was telling me something about Barbalo was the mother of Sophia. I looked that up. I said, "Oh, sure is. She's like the universe herself. She's like the matrix herself." You know, uh, Sophia is just like helps channel her wisdom. Her wisdom is channeled through Sophia. So I had to look that up. So we're always learning. What about uncrossing family and finances? Honey, I would do a lot of uncrossing work. I'm not gonna get into telling you what to do here. I don't know how you would do your uncrossing work, but I would definitely be asking my ancestors how to do some uncrossing work. Okay. Truth. Don't have to do anything because the spirit tells me most. Okay. So again, you see some of this stuff going on here, I don't like it. It's just so ugly. Some of this stuff I see up here, and I said, the ancestors, they ain't supposed to be like that. Their ancestors don't even want them to be doing that. Their ancestors want them to sit down and shut up. Sometimes I be saying something, I be looking at people doing stuff. I be like, your ancestors ain't told you to do that. Your ancestors told you to sit down, shut up, be quiet. They ain't told you to come out here and be ugly. And they ain't raised you like that. You know damn well they don't want you regular like that. I had be saying that to myself. I said, they don't even know. You know. But you know your ancestors, you know you misrepresenting up out here like that. You know. Because most of the time they're gonna be telling you sit down, shut up, you don't know nothing. Okay? It's good to think outside normal. Oh, okay. You did look it up. Thanks for making it clear to me. Yeah, I saw it. I saw that Barbello. And I looked it up. I was like, how did I miss that? But this is where Sophia, that wisdom is coming from. It's coming from her. Let me not, because I'm gonna get off target. I'm not gonna go into that because I started another going to another topic with that. But yeah, I looked into that, Raquel. I did. Okay. I be getting schooled by y'all. When y'all be trying to school me, I be taking the stuff. When I don't know nothing, I'm gonna say it. I ain't gonna act like I know everything, but I know some things, and what I do know, I come here and share it with you guys. And thank you guys for sharing your stuff with me. Okay. Hey, falling into this. Okay. So again, if you're interested, it's been through my study and looking at more about saints. Is when I look at saints, I found the most helpful information and more detailed documented information is when I go through the Latina stuff. I'm telling you, y'all. And some religions, the ancestors have just worked with me like that. They'll say, look up when I want to know something about something, they'll say, look over here because they have the oldest stuff. Okay. Just like when I would start looking at Hinduism and start looking at their meditation and trying to trace the uh, moon, seeing all the benefits of the moon and looking at the moon astrology, it took me over to Hinduism because they have the most accurate information when it comes to astrology and the divine feminine. They have a more recorded history of it, if that makes sense. Okay. So again, your ancestors may lead you to different spots. And we just talked about Obil, how Hinduism was in Obil. I'm telling you guys, when you start following your ancestors, it's no telling where they're gonna lead you when they're telling you to look at certain things. And I know people are trying to make hoodoo. Hoodoo is not Christian. Okay, you could be any religion and practice hoodoo. So when your ancestors are growing you and your mind is hungry and they're trying to develop you in understanding these different systems and help you understand spiritual concepts, they might lead you to study different things. This is how you build a strong practice. You're not going to get it. It's not Christian. You know, I have to keep saying this because people are keeping it in that um they're keeping it, lint in that box like that. And I gotta say, when I start following my ancestors and building my practice in, and they have you studying everything to grow your mind and spirit because it's medicine that they'll be start showing you what medicine and wisdom is where it's been recorded. Okay, when you start following your ancestors, people are limiting you, telling you have to jump into religion to gain a lot of wisdom, spiritual knowledge. No, you got to follow your ancestors. That's the initiation right there. You already, when your ancestors start talking to you, you already getting initiated. This might go on for 3 or 4 years. Yeah. You think you going over a person cannot do it. I don't give a damn what they saying. You can debate me on this. Because when I get to go through talking to them, the ultimate thing they're gonna be telling me, yo, because we gotta get you to work with the spirit. At the end of that's what they're gonna be telling you. That's what they preparing you for. You can debate me on this. You can go spend your thousands of dollars to go up in there and do that. But ultimately, your goal is to get in connection and contact with these spirits so they can start healing and fixing your damn life. Am I lying? Am I lying? Somebody tell me am I lying? That's what we doing this for. That's what I'm doing it for. Thank you for making clear for me. Maybe you can do a video about that. I probably will, Raquel. Probably when we go back on Kabbalah, I'll probably do something like that. I think I'll probably do it probably next month because we're gonna go through the dark tree of life and talk about the click paw. Okay, it's ultimate we're trying to do. Connecting with your Ori and heart, the ancestors will lead the way. Okay. Hey, Gerald. Okay, so again, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get in contact with these spirits, and that because I hear that all the time. I don't got signs. I don't know if my ancestors talking to me. I don't know if my ancestors. I'm not getting no things. Are you sitting down being quiet, beloved? Or are you one of them people I always feel like you got to be doing something? If you sitting down, you lazy. No, you need to be sitting down, being quiet. Be quiet. Or how much time are you spending in meditation? How much time are you spending in nature? Are you getting a sign and they probably been giving you signs and you call your mind somewhere else because that happens. Hi, Carter Lewis. I heard that too. Me too, co-saying because I'm going back trying to look at these books and I'm like I never heard about Bella, but I'm sorry, it kind of makes sense because remember when I posted y'all for y'all. I don't know how long you've been in our group, but we talked about Kabbalah from the divine spiritual perspective. And when we start looking at the solar deities, now because they have this solar deity named Sophia, I have to go back and look at that again. Okay, but that was my first time hearing of Barbela too. I had to Google that because I'm looking in our resources. Like I don't see that there. I'll have to go back and look at that again. But I definitely knew what they were. I definitely looked that up. Okay, and is Barbelo the real name? Now I need to ask myself that is Barbela the real name? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm getting off topic with these. Look, y'all know I'm nerdy. So I have to study it. Is the Barbella the real given name, or is this a name that you know that these patriarchs gave her and changed it? That's my question too. Okay, so uh, again, if you're interested in knowing more about the saints, um, I would recommend that you go over there and go to their Catholic website. They have a free PDF downloads where you can learn. Do they help you set up your table? I haven't seen anything like that over there, but it definitely shows you, it tells you a lot about the saints. And for me, when I'm looking up a spirit, to work with, I'm looking at their whole story to see what they like to set stuff up on their table that'll draw them to the table or to the altar. So it is a good place to start researching on saints and learning more about them. Okay. So both voodoo and the black Indians of New Orleans are comprised of African and indigenous American lineages. Okay. Again, they're gonna run into hoodoo with this. The Mardi Gras Indians tradition celebrates the blending of these two peoples, honors the indigenous Americans who helped runaway slaves find freedoms and protection. This deep kinship between Africans and indigenous Americans shaped the spiritual identity of New Orleans, a place where culture and survival became an art form. So again, you even have them having some of hoodoo elements. New Orleans voodoo, they will engage in hoodoo stuff. You see how they start crossing over, and then you have people going to Marie Laveau, whether they're hoodoo and voodoo, working with Marie Laveau, and Marie Laveau is now an uncanonized saint. She's now a saint among us. That's how we see her. That's how we see her. Okay, so you see how those hoodoo and voodoo elements come together. And for example, if they were a hoodoo practitioner, and I'm sure this happens, you can't tell me it don't happen, because I know how us workers are when we want to do something. If a person wanted to learn voodoo and they were into hoodoo, this is what I would do as a practitioner. And I know I don't have a mentor or whatever. I would definitely go to Marie Laveau and start petitioning her to ask to start teaching me and helping me understand that. You don't think practitioners have went to her grave and did that? You don't think that has ever happened? I'm sure it has happened. Okay, so you'll see a cross. You'll see them run into each other, just like you'll see. Uh, we already talked about Hinduism. We saw Hinduism going up into voodoo. We saw Hinduism going up into the Orisha. We saw Hinduism in Obeah. And what is our ancestors telling us when they tell us this? When we see our ancestors doing this, this is what it's telling me. That them your folks, that's your stuff. Some kind of way there was some ancestral memory there was letting us know how can we do that without going to her grave. Yeah, most people go to her grave. But again, I think we have a book in there in our guidebook. It shows you how to work with Marie Laveau and set up a table for Marie Laveau. Some people go to her grave, but they also know how to set up a table to her. Okay, you can't go to a grave, you have to set up a table. Okay. on my island, I used to hear about Obia. Okay, so you'll see that tripped me out when I seen that in Obia. And when you study Obia, the occult esoteric um, wisdom in it, the first book it shows you is the Indian occult. The Indian occult, and that is a lot. When you read the Indian occult and look at other occult books, the Indian occult book seems to cover a broader scope of things. Okay, but this you should that should be in your guidebook. There should be some type of information in there to work with Marie Laveau. Okay, so the more if you want to work with any spirit, because we got a lot of uncanonized spirits in hoodoo. We just do. They don't honor our ancestors like that, such as Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, Asada Shakur. I can just go on and on and on with all our heroes. So to learn, if you're wanting to work with one of these saints, again, I would ask my elevated ancestors again and do a reading on should I be doing this. And then the next step, you would have to find out their likes and dislikes. What was their favorite food? What was their favorite color? What was their favorite liquor? You want to put things on the table. You're doing this so you can set up a table that'll attract them to there. Just like if you knew your mom was coming to the house or you had a special guest, you want to find out what's their favorite foods, what they like to eat. Uh, you want to put those things in there because again, you want to lure them in there. You're trying to develop a relationship with them. So there's going to have to be some research done. Okay. I had something strange to happen to me today. I took my photo of Eliza Dentor down because I felt like I wasn't ready to put her there with other saints. I asked her if she was really to do something to me. I have a different approach to that. I really don't like working with no other spirit if I don't get guidance from my ancestors. If they don't bring them to me, if they don't start showing up in my dream or pulling up on me in a ritual, then I won't, I, f- I won't call up on them. I won't work with them. It's got to be where because I don't want it to have to do a whole bunch of work to start developing a relationship. So if my ancestors do it, they kind of break the ice and make that interaction go a lot smoother. That's just how I do it. Um, I just feel like our ancestors don't want us working with. They know what's best for us to a certain extent. That's just been my experience. But hey, that's your own practice. Do it as you want. But to keep things safe, that's the way I do it. Annie Palmer, she was a big voodoo worker. No. Are you talking about Annie Christmas? Because we just talked about Annie Christmas in our book. In Jamaica, she was white. And I asked her to show me a thin sign. And my fire alarm went off in the hotel. Look her up. Okay. No, Annie Palmer. Look her up. Okay, I'll look her up. I'll look her up. Never heard of her. I seen the Anna Christmas. I ain't heard of Anna Palmer. But see, we got so many undocumented ancestors, and I wish somebody would just write a book and just put them because they're so scattered everywhere. Like we got so many great ancestors that did some revolutionary stuff that they just did not document or try to bury. Like John Horse, I could just go on and on and on with so many ancestors that were fierce. And really, we need our own hoodoo saint book. We just really do. We just need our own saint book because there's so many of them and they're so scattered everywhere. And I find it hard, I find it hard trying to find everybody. And then I feel bad when I miss somebody. I'm like, oh my gosh, so thank God that I call on my most elevated ancestors, known and unknown. But, I feel bad when I miss somebody and they did some really good stuff that we benefit from today. It really makes me feel bad. We need a book. What book is Remember Annie Christmas and Annie Palmer? Oh no, she said Annie Palmer was different from Annie Christmas. But we just covered a resource on Annie Christmas when we talked about hoodoo saints, because Annie Christmas is listed as a sort of a hoodoo saint. Okay, the book we just dropped over there when we talked about what witches, queens, and hoodoo saints or voodoo saints. It's in your resource over if you're in our community. I'm just assuming you're in the community over there. Let me stop assuming. Okay, that breaks all the whole story down about Annie Christmas. The I think who was that asked me about now unshackled emotions was telling me to look up was that emotions was telling me to look up Annie Palmer. And so when she said that, I just automatically thought of Annie Christmas, and I'm like, is she talking about Annie Christmas? But she said no, this is Annie Palmer. So I'm gonna look her up probably later. She was on the Rose Hall plantation. Okay, I'll look her up. Unshackled emotions. Yeah, I'm gonna look up Annie Palmer too. See, it's be so many of these undocumented ancestors, and you'll see them among different spiritual systems as well. You know, you'll see them among different spiritual systems. So I just wish it was a big book, because they're like you see them in a variety of different places. The uncanonized saints. Some of them we could, I know, and then some of them I don't know. And I always feel bad when somebody bring one to my attention. I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, how come I didn't know that? I'm kind of upset when I don't know. Okay. The Mardi Gras Indian performance with their elaborate feathers and chanting and rhythm set the stage for this type of theatric pageantry and spirit possession that will later be seen in the spiritualist services within the sacred space where a prayer meets songs and the ancestors meet saints. Voodoo and hoodoo find a common ground. Okay. And you'll see that go on it especially in New Orleans. You're seeing that voodoo and hoodoo community was very tight knit. You see them kind of sharing, uh, rituals, certain kind of rituals and things together. So I could definitely see a cohesive relationship going on between the voodoo and hoodoo, and you'll see that in your resource too. So when people ask me what's the difference between hoodoo and voodoo, the truest answer is sometimes beyond the words I can give. They're two branches of the same ancestral tree. And the saints are among the roots that feed both of them, because both of them are working with saints. So I can't tell you where your ancestors ain't going, won't lead you into voodoo, won't lead you into these are it went everywhere. These are the same ancestors that built these spiritual systems. So I can't tell you they're not going to carry you over there. Okay? Even all this is ancestral. Okay? All of this is ancestral. So once you start following your ancestors, I don't know. You got some people that follow ancestors and they initiated in this thing, they initiated in that thing, they initiated in that thing. It happens. And they're very fluent in all these spiritual practices they're initiated in. And some of them still practice hoodoo on top of being an ATR. Some of them do that. You have people do that do that too. You have people that's not initiated, but they work well with these orishas. Their ancestors got them working with these orishas, or got them working with these laws. Or they probably say, "No, we ain't got you work with that." They have them working with the saints in the same capacity that they would be working with the orisha or a law. I'm not lying to you. Okay, no, Miss Penny, I'm not the book club you are yet, but I'm going to look on your site later. Okay, look it up, because I mean we got so many resources over there. I'm just assuming you over there and you seen the material, honey. I'm sorry. Okay, but why? What you asking? But why about? Okay, so sometimes you will see that go on. But why they're initiated and all that, I don't know. Sometimes you have people that practice hoodoo, and they're really good at what they're doing. You just got some people that know how to talk to spirits. You got some practitioners that just know how to conjure. You got some practitioners that's just good with their root work. They know how to lure in the spirit. They know this language of spirit. They got a good relationship with their ancestors, and they just know. And you'll have some of them that start working with different types of Risha or Loas. Now, I do know for me, I know Papa Legba for me has a different medicine than my ancestor. If I'm wanting to work with another spirit, then I'm gonna ask my ancestors, do I need to talk to Papa Legba? They might say yeah. Okay. And I know before I start reaching out to any other spirit or whatever, because he know the language of all spirits, I would just go ahead and ask him to set that up for me. Okay. Uh, I don't know why people do it. You know, and then you got some people that they do love work. You know, they might want to work with Izerla Frida, so they got an altar of Izerla Frida up there because they do number love work with people, and they work well with Izerla Frida, and Izerla Frida helps them do all this love work for people. Okay, and in turn for them working with Izerla Frida, usually when these people set up altars like this, you think you paying the person to do the work. No, 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 no. The person is paying the Lord to do the work. I know, I know. Because they got to get that lower offering. They got to be paid and compensated for the work they're doing for you. So that person got to go out and get that lower whatever they're requesting to do the work for you and put it on that altar. So you think you really paying two people. You paying the worker to request it and do the steps to get the work done, and you're paying the Lord to actually do the work. Does that make sense? 'Cause, I mean, that's the best way I can explain it. And you get some practitioners that will tell you that. Okay, you get some practitioners tell you that, well, I got to pay the Lord. Okay. So there's different rituals and different offerings they want to do specific type of work. I'm initiated, but I follow my ancestors first, then the Orisha. Okay, great. Okay. Who is Azela Frida? Azela Frida is a voodoo goddess. This is supposed to be the goddess of love. She has a lot of characteristics and attributes of Oshun. And then you have Azela Dantor, which is the opposite side of her. Azela Dantor is more fierce. She's the protector of women and children. I would say she's more. Azela Frida has a lot of that kind of Cali energy to her. I mean, Azila Dantor. Okay. Okay. But when you start going through the voodoo pantheon, you'll see different faces of the same deities. Okay. You have a hot, they had them hot, they have them cold, different ones for different things. And so you want to be specific about that and really do your research into that. Okay. Because again, in voodoo, they start making these saints and say that they had a saint, they had an ancestor um that she was just loved. Everybody loved her. She just exude love or whatever. Well, they might put her under a Zerly Frida something else on the last name. You know what I'm saying? So then now you got two Azerly Fridas. You know what I'm saying? Because now they have sanctified this ancestor that exude love. So now you might have a Zerla Frida that's just for like motherly love. I'm just giving an example here. Not that, but I'm just telling you how we'll sit up and we'll make a variety of sites under certain types of energy signatures. That makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Okay. But if you study and the more you look into this, and you look at your ancestors' spiritual system and how they said it set up, it'll make sense to you. I promise. We dance, we sing, we eat. You are correct. Okay. And so again, most of these laws in here, you sitting down, and you'll see that with the Olarisha too. I don't hear a lot of people talking about the Olarisha, but I remember educating myself about that. And they said Olarishas are being born every day. I said, what? What do you mean Olarishas are being born every day? That's what is an indication to me. I was like, there's got to be some sanctification going on with ancestors. Somebody is sanctifying ancestors. They're being elevated in some sort of ritual. Okay, that's when my mind just started, working. Voodoo and it's just okay. So that's how it started working for me. That's when I started putting two and two together. That's when ancestors said, "Yeah, that's what we've been trying to tell you. Some of us, we done told you. Them folks go to church to meet God. We done already told you we go to church to become God. Some of us are gods. What you think, what you think is this is really that. That's why this is closed. That's why a lot of this stuff needs to stay closed. Okay? Because people don't know what they're getting themselves into. Okay? Especially when you see people of the descent trying to get over here in hoodoo, like this is ancestors. So I don't know why you would want to get over here and you don't have any ancestors that experience African diaspora. And then you want to practice so bad, you try to culture appropriate, you're gonna get yourself messed up like that. Okay, because some of our ancestors, I'm just gonna tell the truth, they did not like palm colored people. I can contest to that. I got some people in my family just like, no, man, we ain't jiving with that. Okay, I had a grandmother like that. She just wasn't happening for her. Okay, you got some of them like that because of what happened to them. Okay, they just didn't trust palm colored people, so it wouldn't be, I don't know what they doing over there in some of these other places, but I know in Hoodoo, that's one of the reason why it's closed. It would, and we're not doing it to be hateful or ugly. We're doing it to really keep you safe. Okay. We heard about the little girl went over there and started messing with. Thought she would call on Papa Leg, but and the little girl messed herself up. Okay. The girl ain't even here with us no more. The girl is gone. They don't know what happened to that child. The child thought she saw something on TV and thought she was gonna play with something, and then nobody. Well, they probably did tell a child. But some of these people got these entitled type of minds, thinking they can do anything. You'll see it in the Western occult and Western occultism, and the child messed herself up, and the child ain't here no more. Okay, I think that I don't know where this happened at behind it. She was what she did something. She called on Papa Leg but something, and the child ain't here no more. Okay, the child, something happened to her. She did something, and you messed around and found she messed around and found out. And so I get some people over here, and my thing is, you have your own magic, palm color people. You got Wicca, you got your own folk magic, you got your own stuff. You got your Irish magic, your Scottish magic. You got your own stuff. It worked just fine. It works absolutely fine. There's no reason to come over here and start appropriating and doing stuff. There's no reason for that. You got your own stuff. It worked just fine. Okay, it worked just fine. So I wouldn't recommend you start picking, trying to do hoodoo and conjure and stuff like that because it is ancestral. Okay, your ancestors gave you your own folk magic. It worked just fine. There's no reason for you to be appropriating out here. She called on Papa Libby and got barren. Something happened. I definitely don't want some of nothing. So true. I remember many, many years ago, I called on Dante, and didn't know what I was doing. And you better know what you're doing. That's what I tell people when they get in conjure, because the things I'm going to be providing for you, you better know what you're doing. Because when you get over there in our conjure membership and you're telling me you want to know conjure, I'm gonna give you that conjure work because you're saying you with the big dogs. You can do this. Okay, and I'm gonna give it to you like you can do it too. Now I give you some guideposts and telling you to really look over the materials before you start doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna give it to you too, so you better know what you're doing. I'm gonna give that to you in the raw. You're gonna know how to work with the demon if that's what you want to do. You're gonna know how to work with an angel if that's what you want to do. Or you're gonna know how to work with a goetic spirit if that's what you want to do. Okay? I'm gonna give it to you. But I'm gonna tell you to be careful and everything else. You better know what you're doing when you're doing it. Or when you get over to the country, that's what you're telling me. You get in our country, that's what you're telling me. So a book that I give you, when I start giving you these guidebooks, don't get shocked and get scared. Be like, oh my God, that's what you said you wanted. What you thought was gonna happen? What you think when we started talking about demonology over there and all that stuff? What did you think you was gonna be talking about over there in Conjure? What did you think our ancestors was doing? What do you think hex work and justice work? What do you think that looks like? What do you think justice work and hex work and curse? What do you think that looks like? It sure don't look sweet. It don't look sweet. What was going on with our ancestors didn't look sweet either. So you want that to look sweet too? You better know what you're doing when you getting over there and know what you're asking for. Or you better stay over there on the root work, talking to angels, saints, and your ancestors. I'm not gonna even give you too much knowledge on the ATRs until you get into conjure. Now, if you get into conjure, then I start giving you stuff for how to work with a certain orishas, a certain voodoo deities. Then I give you that. I don't even give you that when you over there on the ritual tier. I'm only gonna give you stuff to work with saints, angels, and your ancestors in the ritual thing. Now, if you choose to do a shift over there in ritual and start working with the other aspects of the saints and start working with the synchronization of it, such as because we do have some of the Orisha and Voodoo deities synchronized with some of the saints. Now, if you choose to do that over there, that's gonna be on you. I think that's the safest way to do it. When it just naturally happens, occurs on its own. Okay. I cried when I had negative work. I know that's right. I cry. You don't be wanting to do that. You do not want. I don't know. That's why I trip out with everybody talking. These folks talking about putting people in pots. They so eager to do stuff like that. I'm like, why would you be eager to do that? Why would you even threaten to do that? Like, why would that even come out your mouth first? Like, you don't be wanting to. If a true worker don't look, because we already know what that's gonna be like for us. And then when you finish that work, you got to do a whole cleansing and ask for forgiveness and all that stuff just to keep yourself covered. So you don't know that look, that's why I don't go, when that's why I be looking at people crazy like that when they say when they be saying stuff. See, I know what they saying. Okay? That's why I be looking at them like that, be like, something's wrong with something the matter with you. You don't know what you're doing. Because you're getting over here and you're too eager to pick up stuff like that. You gonna get yourself messed up. Every time I hear somebody talking about curses or, you know, them so focused on demonology in that point, like that lets me know a lot about you. They dealing with curses and hexes and stuff like that. And then you got some people that can do the work and they know how to stay balanced in it. They know how you got some people that's just what they're good at. Okay, but they know how to stay balanced in it. You got some people that takes advantage of it, and that's the only they're using that to resolve every problem. I'm mad. Put him in the pot. I'm mad. Do this. I'm gonna throw a hit. I'm mad. No, you emotionally immature. You need to get yourself somewhere and sit down and shut up and heal. That's your problem. Your ancestors ain't told you to do nothing like that. They've been telling you a long, long time. You immature. You didn't have time to emotionally regulate. Your nervous system is shot to hell. We didn't get proper treatment. We didn't have a good role modeling. So your emotional health is shot to hell, and you need to get somewhere and sit down because you got poor emotional regulation. That's your problem. Your ego is taking over. That's why you don't go putting stuff on people. Okay? That's what's wrong with a lot of these people because they come here mad. And you don't want to. Okay, I can see it clear as day. And some of these folks should have. I'm just telling you. You see some a practitioner. Yeah, you can be angry, but when it gets to the point where you know that you are losing your cool like that, then you probably need to step away until you can properly address it without giving any real energy to it. Because every time you're putting that type of emotion into something, you're giving that a lot of energy. You're feeding into that. If you can't come here and have a sound discussion without your emotions running high into something, then you probably don't need to talk about that topic. You probably need to just shut up and sit down and using spiritual work to bully or to make another one scared. That's what happens here. I've been seeing a lot of that stuff up here. I said, that these people, Lord, I know the ancestors ain't told that, and that your ancestors told you to get somewhere and sit down, shut up, get somewhere and be quiet. They ain't told you to do nothing like that, honey. And you know they done told you to sit down and shut up. You know they have. You know they have, but you don't want to do that because you don't want to emotionally regulate because your feelings hurt, your ego hurt. But now you got to come up here. Your ancestors told you to sit yourself down somewhere and shut up. That's what they said. But now your ego hurt. You feel like this. You competing and all this stuff. Get yourself somewhere and sit down. Okay, that's what they done told you. Hey, Internet Williams. We're doing good, sweetie. Thank you for coming for the live stream. So, yeah, when I see that type of stuff, y'all watch out for that type of stuff here, because it's just too much. God, I don't know what happened. COVID happened, and I'm telling you, I didn't see all of this going on like this for me until COVID, and I was like, that's the only thing I can explain because I wasn't seeing this like this until that, and then I was seeing people become spiritualists overnight. And I'm like, no, they don't even have, no, you go through a living hell. And you don't want to be doing this work. It takes you a while. For most people we're in it now, it took us years to gain confidence and stuff to walk into this. We were not one to do it. We had gifts and we had to slowly ease our way into it. And you mean to tell me you did this overnight? And then even then we're have to doing a lot of healing and awareness on ourselves before we even and know how to take care of ourselves before we even start exchanging our energy like that with the public. So I would say ask yourself real hard questions. It's always an indication to me if a hoodoo practitioner cannot really break down what hoodoo is all about, and they think hoodoo is all about spells. It's all you hearing them saying. And I already showed you hoodoo was healing your whole damn life. It was saving our ancestors' life, and they have just narrowed it down to a spell and some scriptures. Now I know, no, 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 no. It's so much more. It's so much more going on there. Yes, real. From a little girl and still learning. Okay, and they don't know everything. We always building, hearing for healing for Nick C2. Okay. Oh, well, healing for neck, a C2, a C3. I would probably do some sound healing, some Reiki. I'm trying to think, and probably do some chakra healing. Focus on if you got it in your neck, I probably focus on my throat. That's what I and herbal teas. You said God tea, I would definitely be drinking some type of teas. What is that other day? It was some herb that's supposed to be good for bones. I forgot the name of it. I can't think of it right now. Oh, I can't even think of it. It's like right there. But it's supposed to be a herb that's out there good for bone health. I can't even think of the name of it. It's like right there. It's supposed to be a herb out there good for bone. I would definitely do some comfrey. That's the name of it. Comfrey. 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 Thank you, Ether Strength. Come on through, girl. I was right there. It was right there too. It's comfrey. She's right. It's comfrey. So you probably want to try making you a blend with comfrey and doing something that nettle leaf as well. Let you get answers in the chat. These root workers are in the chat. Unshackled the emotions. They're helping you in the chat. You got some root workers, practitioners in the chat that's helping you. Okay. I know right now I've been on that chamomile tea with the chamomile, the jasmine. I couldn't find lavender. I could not find lavender tea. I was looking for that. Um, but right now I'm on the chamomile, the jasmine. I've been doing a little ginger. What else have I been doing? Something else I got. Oh, and I've been working on my third eye because I've been doing a lot of journey work. So I've been drinking the butterfly PT. That's supposed to be good for your third eye. I've been trying to find the lotus tea. I can't find the lotus tea. The lotus tea is good for the third eye too. But I've been drinking the butterfly PT in a substitute for that. Horsetail, all good for bones. Okay. Red clover. Look, girl, you getting all that work up in there. Okay. People giving you so many herbs you can try. But I know I'm constantly drinking on chamomile and lavender because I know our nervous system is shot the hell. I just posted over there in our community, telling our people over there to drink some things to help regulate the nervous system. So I'm always focused on, trying to regulate my nervous system. So I'm constantly drinking chamomile tea, uh, jasmine tea, lavender tea. So I'm constantly always sipping something, trying to regulate myself, trying to treat myself. And honey, I be talking over that tea, praying over that tea, like our ancestors did. I do the same thing they did, pray over that tea. Call my healing out of that tea, and I drink that tea. Okay, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, sometimes all day. I'm new on my journey. How can I find a community? We have a spiritual roots hoodoo community um on Patreon if you're interested in that. The link is in my bio. I just ordered a blood herbs tea, but I don't know why all in from Dr. Sebi's son. I just ordered blood herbs tea, but I don't know why all in from Dr. Sebi's son. I understand the last part, Carter Lewis. What tea did Miss Penny say is good for bone? Comfrey. You got comfrey. Somebody said horsetail. Somebody said red clover. Uh, what else? They in here, honey. These workers are in here. Practitioners are in here. Somebody said something else too. I don't know what's all in no blood herbs. Somebody asking them the question, what's all in the blood herb tea? I don't know what's in the blood herb tea, but I know I'm always because I know our nervous system is shot to hell, and I didn't even see how bad it was shot to hell till I came here in Thailand, and I thought I had did some healing there, but I did more healing here and calming down my nervous system. Okay, our nervous system, we really should, the way y'all is over there now, really the focus should be on keeping your nervous system calm because them people is always doing raggedy stuff to y'all and always saying raggedy stuff and just, you know, irritating you or whatever. So they're working on their nervous system. Probably gonna have to be doing that all the time over there with butterfly PT, blue lotus be too much together. Sometimes I do mix them together. Girl, if that's what you want to do it. If that's what you want to do it. Sometimes sometimes I miss ginger with chamomile, especially if I'm doing some money work, because chamomile is good for attracting money too. Not just your nervous system. It's good for peace. It's good for attracting money and wealth as well. So when I'm trying to do some money work and I'm really trying to do some enchantment work and get myself in uh abundance type of mode, yeah, I just be taking stuff up a level. I be doing too much sometimes. Then I'll make me some ginger and chamomile tea and start doing affirmations and prayers over it and then drink it. You know, that's my thing. Everybody got their own way they do things. That's how I do stuff. So I make me some ginger and chamomile tea. I put it together and then I start praying over it, you know, to bring in me some inspiration, creative ideas that create abundance or whatever, speak abundance and prosperity with it, and then I just drink my tea. So that's just how I do my thing. But you guys, you do your own thing. You know, that's how I do it. Where can I find butterfly tea? I bought mine's. Where did I get mine from? I got mine from the drugstore, but you could probably get it online. A lot of people buy it online. Okay. Yeah, peppermint tea. That's good too. Peppermint tea is good for money too. Oh, that just be so strong for me. But I definitely would use peppermint leaf in my money workings, like if I was doing any jar work or something like that. I would definitely put it in there. And don't sleep on that 5 finger grass either. That 5 finger grass is good for money work too. So don't sleep on the 5 finger grass. Chamomile, lavender, jasmine to regulate nervous system. Yep. hmm Sometimes I do vervain, and what is the other one? It's another one too. It's another one. It's start with a V too. It's not coming. Is it vervain? It's another one. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. And sometimes I've been taking a shortcut now when I can't find a herbal or herbal store, I go right over there to the herbal teas. I'm like, I'm not finna go through that. I just buy herbal teas sometimes to use. I just make it short for me, make it easy. And just go to where they ain't got the herbs, I'm gonna go over here to the herbal teas. And usually I find what I want when I go over there to the herbal teas. I want 5 finger grass, but there is counterfeits. Where do you get yours? I haven't had none in a while. When I was getting it, where did I get that 5 finger grass from? Did I get it from Etsy? I think I got it from Etsy somewhere. That's what it is. That's the season name for it. What who's that put in there? California Forever 44. Just put the real name in there. Yeah, they used to sell it in the store, but I had the hardest time. They don't sell it in the store no more. I looked everywhere when I was in the States. I mean, I went to Walmart, I had went to Kroger, and I didn't see it in the store. I'm like, when they stop putting it in the store? Because they don't have it in the grocery store no more. Valerian root, yeah, valerian root, that's a good one too. And that stuff stinking. I had to put a little lavender in there with that because that valerian root don't smell good at all, honey. But it do what it's supposed to do, but it don't smell good. Okay. So it's a variety of herbs you can use, you guys. Okay, so another saint that I want to talk about, I did not know this until I started reading this book and looking at these resources. We have another saint in here. that's called Saint Rock. Okay. Saint Rock is seen more like you can also see him synchronized with Babalu Aye in the Yoruba Orisha. I hope I'm saying that right. Babalu Aye. I hope I'm saying that right. Okay, so I was like, I had never heard of Saint Rock before. This is the first time I had heard of Saint Rock. I was like, okay. The Orisha of healing, protector of health, just as folk Catholicism, hoodoo drives unmarried women. Okay, so Saint Rock also was good for helping unmarried women find a husband. So they were using him for that as well. So when a hoodoo practitioner or a voodoo practitioner could not get married, they would go to Saint Rock. And I'm like, okay, it goes on further. He just gets more and more more and more eccentric. This Saint Rock, because I was like, I didn't know saints can do this. It just gets it just gets more. I don't know. I'm just learning more. It gets deeper when you go to looking at these saints. As a hoodoo saint, Saint Rock has the reputation of an eccentric. His attitude is nothing given, nothing gained. Meaning, if you want a favor, you got to pay for it and pay for it somehow. You have to make an offering of respect. Offerings include bread, water, treats for his dogs, such as a table, scraps, dog food, or dog toys. When making a prayer request or after a prayer request is answered, he is offered figurines of dogs, rosaries, written thank you notes, ceramic body parts, crosses, hearts, mementos, and thank yous inscribed in bricks and photos. The aspect of Saint Rock that requires payment for services rendered is energized by left-handed magicians. Now, I didn't notice that you can use this saint for left-handed work. His name is Saint Rock. Name spelled Roch. Roch, but pronounced Rock. Name spelled Roch, but name is sound like rock, Rock. Okay. Now, if you're in our community, you're gonna get all the details about how to work with him. Proceed with precautions with working with him, because ritual tier, you're getting that information, and I wanted you to have the information about the saints that I didn't know he was in there. Now, if it was my choice, I wouldn't have given you that book, because I don't want I want you to be safe with this. Okay. Um, the ritual aspect requires payments for services rendered energized by left-handed magicians or sorcerers, whereby he is invoked for manipulative and harmful purposes. For example, just as people go to St. Rock for healing for physical disabilities, practitioners can petition him to target someone and cause a physical disability. But there's a drawback with this for you guys that love to root people and all that kind of stuff. There's a drawback for this. So you need to sit in here and listen to this with St. Rock. See, I didn't even know nothing about him. I'm just like, I did not even know he existed until I was reading this resource here. It says when a practitioner is healed for after praying to Saint Rock, they will leave crutch behind in the church since it is no longer needed. At the left hand, conjure worker might craft a arm or a leg out of clay, put it before Saint Rock with the name of the target, and ask for him to take that person's arm or leg. There's always a price for this kind of magic. There's a price because he wants to be paid. That's what I tell you when you start working with some of these spirits and you start conjuring, they don't work for free. Just like your ancestors, you have to service them. When you ask them stuff to do, same thing come with these spirits. Now listen up now. I need you to listen up. If you tend to work with him, because y'all getting this book over here. And I don't know if y'all reading this stuff or not. So this is why I'm doing this too, to make sure you're reading everything. Okay? It says when the petitioner, okay, I just went through that. Now Saint Rock would do favors, but he always take. Now this is what this the practitioner said that Harriet Middle Hyatt had interviewed her. Her name was Nene. And this is one of our ancestors telling us about how they work with Saint Rock. This is her giving experience with working with Saint Rock. Now listen to what she says. She says Saint Rock will do favors, but he always takes somebody out the family. He's a vengeful saint. He'll do anything that you want done. If you want an individual to get a hand cut off, or to get a leg cut off, or a finger, just how far you want that leg to be cut off, that person, up to the knee or all the way up to the hip, or if you want their arm cut off up to the shoulder or something, or if you want their head mashed or anything of that kind, make something of that kind. You'll get clay. You'll need, and you'll make an arm if it's an arm, and if you want that cut off, or it's a leg, you'll make a foot. So she's telling you, you'll take clay and you'll make these things. And you will place that before St. Rock with the name of this individual that want this done to them. You see? And if it's a white person, you write it on white paper and red ink. And if it's a colored person, you write it on brown paper with black ink. And you place that foot of that hand of what you want with the name before the picture of St. Rock. As noted, this type of magic is not without consequences. Nani quickly pointed out that the typical price for the successful ritual is the death of someone you love. You heard me right? I will repeat it again. As has been noted, this type of magic is not without its consequences. Nani quickly pointed out that the typical price for a successful ritual is the death of someone you love more than life itself, a member of your family, usually the head of the household. Yeah, yeah. That homeschooler said, she said, child, let me stay over here with the angels, and that is it. Okay? You have some angels too that can go in and put in that work like that. Okay, but again, there is a price to pay. Just like these saints want offerings for different things. This particular saint right here, if you're doing left hand work with him like that, there is a big price to pay. Okay, I wouldn't recommend it, but I had to put that out there for you. And I'm sure I am, whoo, that's a heavy. I don't see a lot of, what left hand work was working with these people, with that saint. Okay, and so you got to remember too, some of these saints want to be, some of these spirits. That's why you get in conjure. When you get over there, I tell you, you have to pay these spirits. They don't work for you. This is a whole different ballpark from ancestor veneration. Because when you're saying you want to work with these spirits, some of these spirits want to be paid. You're gonna have to pay them. They don't work for free. Okay, you better know, and you need to have a strong mind because, like I said, a lot of these spirits speak to you telepathically. That's why a lot of people that they got a strong mind and they get in the conjure, they go crazy because these spirits talking to them and they don't know how to shut it off. They don't have a strong mind. They don't have good boundaries. Mrs. Penny, this whole spiritual journey is a price to pay, especially when you are called to work. It is. That tripped me out. I said I had never heard of him until I didn't even know if there was such a saint like that. Okay, I thought Saint Cyprian was something. I ain't know, I thought Saint Cyprian was a very eccentric saint to me because he again he was an expert in occultism, and he can help you with all magic and perfect black magic. He'll also help you remove any curses or hexes put on you. Now, I thought Saint Cyprian was very eccentric and different. Until I seen him, I was like, whoa, whoa? Okay. And so his name is Saint Rock. This name is spelled Roch. Roch, but pronounced Rock. Okay. So if you use him, and the only time I can see somebody using him if they ain't got nothing to lose. You can't have nothing to lose if you work with that saint. You can't be scared of losing nothing if you work with that saint. That's the only thing I can explain. That's the only time I can see an ancestor or somebody working with him if they wanted revenge so bad, or somebody they love was already taken away from them, and they use that saint. I just don't, I don't know. But when I saw that, I was like, wow. Okay. But you'll see it in there. And that was a very interesting saint that I want to come here and talk about. I was very interested in that. And I wanted to make you aware of that. You're going to see that in the book, but then come here and talking about it, give you full disclosure, so you don't be picking up stuff and not reading the full books. All these resources I give you, I read the whole thing, especially if it's in conjure. You need to read that whole conjure book before you start conjuring stuff. If I give you a guidebook to work with a spirit, you need to read that whole guidebook before you start doing stuff. Because you need to understand everything about that, the disclaimers, the disclosures, and everything. Instead of you get a spirit up there and you ain't did the whole research, you to read a clip or something, and now it's stuff going on because you didn't read all the stuff. You didn't sit there and study with it and sit with it. You didn't do enough research. That's why I say you don't need to be doing what everything that everybody say on here. It does you good to sit down and study things for yourself. And if folks telling you not to read a book, all the information in the book, how do you think Bobby Hemmett and all them learn stuff? That's when people be saying stuff like that. I said they want you to stay ignorant. Y'all sound like the preacher people telling them people to read that one Bible because all the answers gonna be in that one book. You have to sit down and figure this out. And the person that's telling you not to read or educate yourself, I, is you trying to trap them people? I have to ask you that. You trying to keep them stupid or ignorant or something? Why would you tell them that? Because they need to learn this and comprehend it. And if they're not learning and reading this stuff and comprehending it, they're doomed to make a mistake. My apologies. What is the name of the book? What is the name of this book? Witches, Queens, Voodoo Spirits, and Hoodoo Haints. Witch Queens, Voodoo Spirits, and Hoodoo Haints. That's the name of the book. If you're in a community, you already got that book free. You get a lot of good books for free over there. I make sure I can get you the material. I'm not gonna do a lecture on it, talk about it if I can't get you the material so you can see it for yourself. Okay, especially in our community, you get 100-year-old books, new books. So you get old books and new books. So if you're interested in our community, uh, it's in a link. The link is in our bios, YouTube and TikTok. Okay, so let me move on here. We talked about Saint Rock. I know that was a lot of one. That's why seasoned workers often say he will take pity on the righteous, but he will test the heart of the conjurer. That's a test of all time. Don't go over there messing with that saint like that. You can't have nothing to lose messing with him. That's the only way I can see you messing with him. Not that you really need to be healed from a disability or something like this. Stay on his right side. Don't try to do no left hand work with him. I don't recommend it. Not unless you ain't got nothing to lose. Okay. Uh, Saint Rock is first and foremost a healer, yet in the deeper layers of folk practice, the left hand coercive side of conjure, his power could also be directed to inflict affliction or oppressor or wrongdoing. And you see that with some of the voodoo. You got Rada, cool spirits in voodoo. And I guess you see that in saints too. You got cool spirit saints. Cause they getting from us, y'all. They got this Catholicism, they got these spirits from us. I guess you seeing that too. You got cool spirits that's saints in there, and then you got hot spirits, and then you have in voodoo you have a cooler side to a spirit, then you get the hot side of the spirit, and certain people have to know how to work with the petros. Okay, it's easy to work with the cool spirits, but you have to be skilled and trained to work with petros, and people will tell you that work with hot spirits. Okay, but I won't recommend it. If you stay on the healer side of that, and if you try to do left-handed work with him, you probably gonna get yourself. Just see how you can get yourself messed up. See how you can get yourself crossed up when you don't know what you're doing, and you ain't looked at nothing, and you just doing what people tell you to do, and you ain't sat down and read nothing on your own, and looking like you just doing stuff. It's because somebody showed you how to do it. You know, be careful out there, you guys. Okay. Such practices arose from the older worldview in which saints and spirits were seen not only as gentle intercessors but enforcers of divine law. When earthly justice failed, people turned to spirits for balance. Okay. In the sacred landscape of hoodoo, sainthood is not dedicated to the Vatican. So now we're going to get ready to talk about uncanonized saints that you're going to see in your materials. So we're getting ready to shift into that, and then I'll close out. Don't want to keep you guys long. So we come to uncanonized saints, and hoodoo are the spirits of individuals who have proven in both life and death that their power and presence endure. They are the prophets, the warriors, the healers, the visionaries who serve their communities and continue to work miracles from the spiritual world. These saints were not crowned by religious institutions, they were anointed by experience, struggle, and testimony. In hoodoo, to be an uncanonized saint means to have walked through the fires of life, faced oppression with faith, and become a light for others to follow. The meaning of uncanonized saint. Okay. In traditionally Christianity, saints are declared holy through formal canonization, a process of documentation, miracles, approval by the church. But within hoodoo, which emerged from a spiritual systems of enslaved ancestors, uh, holiness was never defined by authority. It was defined by power and miracles and faith in action. Hoodoo practitioners recognize saints through lived experience. If a spirit continues to show up, protect, heal, and answer prayers, that spirit is considered a saint, regardless of what any religious institution decrees. Their sanctity comes from results and not ritual approval. These uncanonized saints are sometimes called folk saints or ancestral saints. They are not beloved. They are beloved because they represent the lived faith, resistance, and resilience of people who made hoodoo what it is today. When our ancestral spiritual traditions merge with Christianity, our ancestors interpret the saints of the church through their ancestral lens. Over time, they also began to recognize their own holy figures, the ancestors who had carried the light of liberation and healing. This act was revolutionary. We do not need permission to recognize the divine in our own people. Thus, the hoodoo tradition gave rise to uncanonized saints, those who lived and died in service to the freedom, spirit, and truth. In this way, uncanonized sainthood is an act of spiritual reclamation, restoring holiness to those whose faith and power were too radical, too black, or too feminine or for organized religion to accept. Some of the most revered uncanonized saints within hoodoo and African American folk spirit traditions are High John the Conqueror. Let me go into that one. High John the Conqueror. Now remember me telling you, this is a prime example of that. Even though he's anthropomorphic, meaning that he was born in the mind of our ancestors, and given sainthood. Let's remember that this is a plant that has became our ancestors. Don't forget that. That plant is now became our ancestors. See how I told you how you have trees and dirt and all that stuff that's ancestral? We got trees, we got plants that's also ancestral to us. So now High John the Conqueror has now become an ancestor. You seeing it right there for yourself. That's a prime example of how I've told you some of these elemental spirits are our ancestors. You're seeing it right there with High John the Conqueror. Now he an ancestor. Now he a saint. Yep, the trees know it all. So now you got a plant now that's working for you as an ancestor. Our ancestors adopted it in there. It worked for us. It worked. That spirit of the plant is now part of hoodoo and a part of our again connected to our ancestors. Is it making sense to you now? I hope it's making sense to you now because now we got High John the Conqueror in there, and that's a plant. And now the plant is now a saint. Okay. I hope it's coming together for you now. Because the first time I mentioned it, you probably was saying, "No, how's that, Miss Penny?" Well, it should make sense because you got, the water element is some kin to you because you got water spirits up in your spiritual practice. You got mermaids and all that stuff up in there. Okay. Then you got air spirits up in there, fire spirits. You got Shango up in there. You got Oya up in there. You got Oshun up in there. All up in your elementals, all up in our spiritual practices. Okay? So I hope it's making sense to you. He's now an uncanonized saint. Then you got Black Hawk. Now this is where we stop, and I have to stop you right there because the people telling you, oh, you use the Bible for everything. Black Hawk again was indigenous ancestors. He was not Christian. You cannot use any Bible scriptures or anything like that invoking Black Hawk. Black Hawk was an indigenous American. Okay, so you have to be careful on how you invoke him because he was not Christian. And you got a lot of people trying to approach him that way, but you wouldn't approach him that way. So this where that don't make sense when people tell you if you don't use your Bible, you ain't doing hoodoo or whatever. Some of our ancestors, we talking about indigenous Americans, so a lot of them was not Christian. Christian people was doing stuff to them. So do you actually think that a lot of them was Christian? No. Okay. Another one of our ancestors that now we're looking at, he hasn't been canonized yet, but we still follow a lot of his root worker. He would be canonized as probably the best root worker ever, was Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi. Now Dr. Sebi is an ancestor. He's a saint now. Okay? He brought all his healing. He was healing his community. He was helping his community. He was healing people in his community. Wouldn't you say that Dr. Sebi is a saint now? He's a saint in our eyes. Okay. Thank you for the gift, Nikki. So now he's a saint. He brought us a lot of knowledge, telling us what these foods is, what herbs to take, how we can heal our body to get back into herbal medicine, how many people he healed with his herbs and all of that. Okay. So without him, I don't think we would be into root work as deeply as we is now without him setting a stage of talking about herbalism. Okay. And showing how he was using herbalism to heal people. I mean, he did a great job, and I think his son has still got that going on. He's inspired other people to open up their own herbalism business as well. It's in the in my YouTube link. Go to the channel page. Go to the channel page, and then you'll see it in my YouTube link. Go to my YouTube channel page, and it's up there. It'll take you directly to Patreon. Okay. So again, we have uncanonized saint as well. Now, what I want to say about the uncanonized saint, you want to be very you want to be careful how you're approaching them. Is this an indigenous uncanonized ancestor? Should I be using my Bible with them, or should I be using my words, my own words? You know, a liberation poem or something like that. Should I be writing a poem or something to them to invoke them, or really think about when it comes to uncanonized saint? Do your research. Was they Christian? Should I be approaching them from a Christian perspective? So all those things matter. Okay. Now we covered a lot here today, and plus I did my yapping here today. But I will be coming back here tomorrow because I think we're gonna be covering saboteurs here. So tomorrow you'll get a lecture and you'll get information on saboteurs. It's just gonna get more juicy with this. Um, and we're going to go into seven tours because it's going to really help you understand on how to craft your mojo bags and how to work with voodoo dolls. That's why we're covering seven tours. It gives you a greater understanding because what I'm finding is when people are explaining mojo bags and doll babies or voodoo dolls or whatever, they're not giving enough details on the energy that goes into making these. Okay, and there is steps to this. There's energy that has to go into this. That your mind is more than just putting herbs in here, putting herbs in a mojo bag, or putting herbs in a doll baby. Again, the mental focus has got to be there. Being able to pour in that mental energy into the bag to bring it to life as well. Okay. And so going over seven tours is really gonna I think because it's the same thing. You got Westerners calling seven tour that, but we have been using fetishes and things like that as spirits. We've been doing that. Okay, so you're having the Western occultists call it something else, something ancient that we've been doing it from the beginning of time, calling it seven tour. So and then what I'm finding is people that's writing about mojo bags, they're not giving a lot of details. Okay, there's steps to that. Or you seeing somebody do a mojo bag and they throwing a whole bunch of stuff in there, and you think that's all it is. No, it's not. No, it's not. Don't you want something that works? Okay, and something like that is going to take some programming and some focus to get it to work for you. So we'll be talking about seven tours tomorrow. Is that something you want to talk about? And then after that, it get more juicier. We're going to talk about the egregores, and I'm sure Magic Mike is going to be able to chime in really good on that. I would rather he be here too because he'll keep me straight on some things. Okay, so we're going to talk about that this week. We're going to talk about Sabbators and Egregore. And if there's any Christian people want to chime in on that, you're probably going to be very educated when we go to Egregores. You're going to look at your religion in a brand new way when I break that down for you. Okay, does anyone has any questions about anything we covered today? If you're interested in the astro reading, you can DM me on TikTok your time. Let me put my thing in here. Your time, your day, your place of birth. And these are based on getting you in alignment, your root work, getting you in alignment with your purpose, your soul work, your shadow work, uh, things like that. Now, if you know you have something personal going on that you're stuck at, that's causing you not to get in alignment with your purpose in your chart, you probably need to book a tarot reading. Okay. You probably need to book a tarot reading because a astro reading is not going to give you information about the details and shifts. Because it just if it's happening right now and you're transitioning, you need some help transitioning, then you're probably going to need a tarot reading. Okay. And so if that's what's happening, you need help transitioning into getting in alignment with that chart. You probably need to book a tarot reading. So, and I'm finding that people are booking an astro reading and you need the tarot reading because you're stuck. You already know what's in your chart. You already know what's in there, some of you, but you can't get out of the pickle. And so the only way you're going to get out of the pickle is I give you a reading. We sit down together. I start removing blocks and start helping you shift because that's what happened. The shift is not happening. Okay. So if you're wanting an astro reading, reach out to me. I need your time, your day, your time, your date, your place of birth, and your email address. If you are stuck somewhere and you got your chart and you say, I got this or whatever, Miss Penny, I'm always almost there. I'm just stuck right here. If I can just get a reading, and try to figure out what choices I can make that'll help me shift, then you need to, I would say book a tarot reading. But don't expect a astrological reading to give you because you need somebody to sit down with you. Okay. That's just a reading to let you know where you need to get in alignment, the work you need to do to get in alignment. But if you're stuck somewhere, I recommend a tarot reading. Oh, I'm grateful they brought you here tonight too. Okay. So if there is no more questions, you guys, and if you're interested in a hoodoo community where you want to learn everything, uh, you want to really build your practice and deepen your relationship with your ancestors, get over there and join our community. Okay. We have memberships as low as $5, which you just get a lot of resources where you just read. Then we have our ritual tier where you get all the rituals, how to work with saints, how to work with angels and your ancestors. You get all that information on there. And maybe you say, hey, I've perfected ritual. I know how to work with my ancestors. I'm good with work with angels and saints. I'm a big dog now. I'm ready to do conjure. I'm ready to just work with spirits. I'm ready to conjure spirits, summon spirits. Then you probably want to get in our conjure tier. If you're saying, Miss Penny, I don't know anything, I need help with everything. I don't know anything. I need to do shadow work. I need to heal. I know I need to do all these things, and I need support in all these areas. Get in our Know Thyself membership where you'll get, again, we do workshop meetings and I'm still coming up with more workshops. I got to do a poll over there in our community and see what type of workshops they would like to see over there because I do that. I chime in and kind of see that what's going to help you guys over there. Um, and so we have a healing circle where we meet twice a month and you get a workbook and a program that helps you do shadow work over there if there's something that you're interested in. Okay. And the link is in my bio. Okay, loved ones, and let you go. It's getting late over there. And I hope to see you tomorrow. We're going to have a very good topic on saboteurs. Okay. Love you guys, and you guys take care.